Welcome back here for our third match of the day. This is going to be the one to watch. This is going to be the OC Stunners squaring off against the Utah Stingers. We are here in beautiful Atlantic City. I say beautiful. It is currently blowing wind sideways right now and a little bit rainy, but the weather inside is great for some high-level volleyball. If you haven't been here all weekend, worry not. I'm joined here by Matt Prosser, and I'm Nick England, and we are going to be your guides through the journey of this great volleyball match going on right now in Harrah's Casino in Atlantic City. Matt, these two teams are some of the biggest titans in this league. What are you expecting from this matchup?
Well, I expect just that. It'll be a battle of the titans, Nick. That was a great call by you. You know, we do sort of see these two teams kind of going in opposite directions, though. However, the Stingers have been struggling this weekend, missing a few key players. But on the opposite side, the Stunners, with some new faces on the squad, really a resurgence of the OC Stunners after going 0-3 in the opening weekend. Now 2-0 currently this weekend, looking to pull off a weekend sweep as well. 3-0 hopefully in the victory column for them.
Yeah, and I think when we address that disparity that you're talking about, it's so important, but also what's really on the line. This is the sixth match of the season. The way the season is structured is that every team plays every other team one time, so that's 9 total matches. So what that means right now is this is a 3-3, 500 record game if the OC Sounders are able to get the win. Now, for the Stingers side, if they drop a win here, that's going to mean that the Tyrants are actually going to pass them in the standings in 0-3 weekend, putting them at 500. A weekend I don't think many people expected coming into this. Also, notably, a throwback to the Tyrants, had a stellar showing this weekend, going 3-0 and bringing themselves to a 4-2 record. You're going to be able to see the standings right here, right there on the left side in the American Conference. This is at the beginning of the day, so what's not reflected is number 3 Tyrants are now 4-2. Stingers are 3-2, so a loss here brings them to 3-3, and that's going to swap our 2 and 3 seeds in the American Conference. Now on the right side in the National Conference, we saw Southern Exposure just drop a set, moving them to 3-3. So the Stunners getting a win here is going to tie those two teams up, and we have to then look at our FIVB points. If you're unfamiliar with that system, we're always talking about it to help fill you in. The way that works is there is a ranking system of 3, 2, 1, or 0 points. If you win a match in 3 sets or 4 sets, you earn your team 3 points. If you win it in 5, you get 2. If you lose in 5, you get 1, and a loss in any other way is going to be 0 points. And that's used as a tie-break decider. So that's going to be really important here for the Stunners to come out and try and get a win in 3 or 4 to maximize their point output.
Great clarification, Nick. Thanks for clearing that up for us and the viewers at home as you're paying attention through our 2021 season. That's very important to understand as we sort of close out weekend number 2 here today with 3 more matches to be played, including this one, and then going into the very pivotal event number 3 that'll be in 2 weeks' time back on the West Coast in San Bernardino, California. So team rankings developing every single day. Every match has got major importance and implications going into the final few weeks of the season here, and it's great to understand what's going on there.
In there you see a quick shot with some of our NVA staff getting a nice photo for all of the guys, getting just one little team shot for the Utah Stingers as we prepare to get this underway. And we're going to take one quick this is a look at our standings. Any chance we can get a look at the remainder of the schedule? All right, our team's going to toss up a schedule here so that you can see exactly what we have to look for the rest of the day. So this is our 2 p.m. match. That's, like we said, Stunners Stingers. At 4:30, we're going to have that is the Ontario Matadors squaring off against Team Freedom. Now, Team Freedom is the last undefeated team. They're sitting at 5-0. That's going to be a big one for them. But on the National Conference, Matadors currently 1-4, only 1 win ahead of the Dallas Tornadoes. If they can secure that win, it'll bring them to 2-4 and create a little bit of spacing between the 0-6 Tornadoes and themselves.
Yeah, so big important match there for the Matadors and the Tornadoes respectively, although they've already played their match today. And so they're finished currently at 0-6. Matadors want to get a little more breathing room if they can pull off that victory over the undefeated Team Freedom. So they've got to have an uphill battle in that one as well for sure.
Absolutely. And then our final exclamation to end such a great Memorial Day weekend we've got here is LA Blaze playing the Las Vegas Ramblers. These two teams train together fairly regularly, see each other all the time. So that's going to be a great West Coast battle to end us here on the East Coast from a great weekend of volleyball. If you guys have not already and you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that alert bell down below. All of that helps grow the NVA. And if you're not already, be sure to follow the league and your favorite teams on all social medias down below. Also, we have a great website at nvausa.com. But that's enough for the back end. And now for what you really want to see. We're going to take it to the court right now. We've got the OC Stunners and the Utah Stingers.
Well said, Nick. Make sure you do follow any of those social media platforms. Follow along for some extra content. Nick England's got some great Quest for the Cup shows that he produces and puts up on YouTube for a little bit more insight into some behind-the-scenes action. But right now, we're getting ready for this key matchup here. The Utah Stingers are NVA Cup champions from the 2020 event that was held back in Salt Lake City versus the OC Stunners, team that has gone 2-0 so far on the weekend, pulling off two nice victories Friday and Saturday. Like we mentioned, Stingers searching a little bit for their first win. Still very competitive team, highly athletic. You see number 4 there, Leo Durkin, the setter, all-tournament setter from our previous competition that was in Salt Lake City back in November, and he'll be running the offense as usual. Staple for the Utah Stingers team, captain and starting setter. Talking there with Paul Clark, their outside hitter. A little strategy going on, a little extra curricular strategical session. Joey Jarvis, number 7, the Canadian outside hitter for OC Stunners. High flyer, super athletic individual, great volleyball player. Always fun to watch, enjoys the game. Quick good luck to the officiating staff. A few changes here for the Stunners. We see Jair Santiago, number 15 in white. He'll be playing opposite the setter, number 43, newer addition to the team, known as Demi. Also, Corey Chavers there, number 6 in white, former UC Santa Barbara Gaucho. Missed the first weekend several weeks back as he was finishing up his season playing professionally overseas in Italy. Adding a huge contribution to this squad, now back on the domestic professional scene. Meanwhile, for the Stingers, I see Jorge Mencia, Inovel Romero, and Storm faagata-tufuga as the other outside hitter. And there's a quick set out of the middle for the Stunners to start this match off, Nick.
There it is. We are all good to go. Thanks for breaking down the teams and letting everyone know what they can expect to see. And there we see Shane Beamer letting everyone know what they can expect to see from him. A great quick set to the middle. And now we're going to see Demi with the float. Platform pass by Romero. And pushed through the block by Mencia. That's a nice adjustment on the left side there for number 9.
If you watch, go ahead, Nick.
I was going to say, he is such a smooth operator. He doesn't always have the biggest swings, but man, he is consistent.
Yeah, he is consistent. He had a great start to yesterday's match, cooled as the match went on, so it'll be interesting to see how he's feeling physically today.
Eisenberg with a pass that goes back to Beamer. Once again, Demi knows that he wants the middles established early. If you know anything about the middles from OC Stunners, you haven't heard it before, they've got the best middle crew in the league, hands down. Middle blocker Shane Beamer from UCSD right there on the screen. They've got number 22, two-time national champion Nick Amato from Long Beach, and Nick West by way of from Hawaii by way of UC Irvine. Played professionally overseas for several seasons. Additionally, their 4th middle not here is Kevin Gear, a Nittany Lion from Penn State. They are stacked to the gills, so they're going to be relying on that and see if it's a bit of a mismatch between them and the Stingers here.
Yeah, the Stingers are definitely going to have their hands full trying to figure out Beamer, as that's 3 straight kills across the front row, streaking Beamer. Stunners, clearly the strategy is to run their middles until the Stingers can prove that they can stop them. So Shmelev and Metcalf will definitely have their hands full throughout this match.
And Stunners have already shown they're willing to kind of play some games, and right now that game might be set the middle every single time until it gets stopped. It would not surprise me. Yesterday against the Las Vegas Ramblers, they started their entire second string and played that team until they lost, and then did a 6-man substitution, including a swap of their libero. I guess it was a 5-man. The setter was the only one that remained. Now to backside, Jair Santiago gets the swing wide off the block. And that's going to be Stunners 4-3. Jair Santiago, a big server and someone that applies a lot of pressure. We'll see how the Stingers handle that.
6'10" opposite out of Puerto Rico. Shot. Whoa, we have an overrule.
Yeah, I saw that in for sure. And so did the Stingers.
For sure, he
100%.
says confidently.
No doubt.
Far side of the court. Did you get your binoculars out?
Actually, I can just see the white line, and it did disappear. So it was still in front of the line. I had to think through how to say that.
I thought you saw the line jump.
No line bounce. Tape bounce on that one, and that's going to be Storm trying to manage here. A set over the top picked up by Eisenberg. And a back set to Nick West. Their game plan is very simple, and it's a clear message. They think they have better middles, and they want to expose the blocking core of Metcalf and Shmelyov on the side of the Stingers.
4 for 4 out of the quick attack middles. The only hitting error coming on a right side attack for the Stunners earlier on.
That one's going to go long. A nice break for the Stingers. See if they can now answer back. Storm with the big jump serve. Pass by Eisenberg outside to Jarvis. High swing, sends that one just long. Not going to find any hands there to try and aim at. Storm faagata-tufuga, number 8 right there, had a stellar performance against the Las Vegas Ramblers earlier on this weekend. Had a great serve, and that one goes just long, but it's only a matter of time until he gets warmed up.
Yeah, Storm has been relied upon quite heavily throughout this weekend as a major point contributor. He stepped up to the plate for it. Unfortunately, Stingers just coming up short in their matches so far.
Jarvis with the top spin at Duquim. Outside to Romero, and that's going to go into the hard angle. A great 4-4 swing there from the outside, number 15.
Yeah, another nice thing to see for the Stingers is Romero coming in hard for his first kill of this match.
Jarvis with a bit of a tight pass, and that allows them to run Nick West early as they go right at him. Wow, this is the most aggressive middle option we've seen all season from any team already.
Once again, living up to their namesake, the Stunners. We saw them do it Friday and Saturday in different capacities, but now the game plan clearly to stun the Stingers with their constant middle attacks and proving how difficult it'll be to stop them.
You know, it's one of those things we talk about every time. We love to say, oh, get your middle set early, run them once or twice, blah, blah, blah. But, like, Stunners is running their middles every single time it makes sense, and every single time it doesn't make sense, or they can even remotely justify it. They are threading that ball in, and the size and physicality of their middles is being utilized wonderfully in this mismatch right here.
So we're going to see that cause some issues on 2 levels for the Stingers, not just on the Stingers' block and defense, but it's going to force them to try to serve tougher, to take the Stunners out of system on their serve receive and not be able to set the quick as much.
The Stunners ready for a foot race to get back on the court. Can't enter the court just early with a technical timeout. They're holding each other back. I've got my money on Eisenberg, number 4, to get under the arms of 6'10". Oh, looks like Inovel Romero going the wrong direction.
I don't know. Duquem was pretty quick over there in yellow.
That speaks true to the personalities we have here in the league. Guys that are not only absolute ballers on the court, but great guys to be the namesakes and faces of the pro league here in the U.S. West hammers us an ace out of the timeout. 9-6.
Nick West, sorry Nick, don't mean to cut you off, but Nick West using sort of a unique jump serve from the left side of the court as a right-handed middle hitter. You'll see him line up all the way over, right along that left side hash mark. Not very common to see the ball coming at you that direction.
This time he finds Romero out of system, and Romero bails himself out all the same. He was the one option to set there, but he's more than happy to take a big rip and earn the Stingers a point.
Yeah, Romero 2 for 2 so far, so that's a good sign for the Stingers, and if you're a fan of the Utah team.
Leo Durkin targets Jarvis. Jair Santiago, the only option there, and he gets a roll shot tool off the block. Now, one thing to note, while this is certainly a great performance right now at 10-7 for the Stunners, the Stingers are notorious for starting slow. They might even drop that first game, and they slowly strangle their opponents out. They crawl back into the game. So this one's far from over.
Yeah, it is. They've been playing together for a long time. They know how each other prefers to play, but you're right. Traditionally a little bit of a slower squad, and we'll have to see how they respond.
Huge dig by Storm there. Leo Durkin goes and sends that across the court. Mencia pushes that over. That's the same consistency we praised earlier on. Number 9, Jorge Mencia, able to go up and just guide that one over, and the defense of the Stunners not able to handle it. Storm faagata-tufuga stepping in and getting a huge dig there against the number 6 Corey Shavers. And that's going to be a huge, huge boon to the defense of the Stingers if they're able to find more digs like that.
Yeah, trying to kind of solve the puzzle, the riddle that is Corey Shavers, and slow him down offensively. He's one of the biggest hitters for the Stunners, so expect to see a lot of opportunities there.
Great pass from Shavers and goes backside, and that's going to go through the legs of Leo Durkin as he lays an egg. And that egg is a Mikasa VLW 200. Once again, a huge thank you to Mikasa, the proud ball sponsor of the NBA. Got to get creative ways to plug our sponsors. Always thankful for their support here of the league. And that serve goes long. Metcalf with the float, goes short and catches Eisenberg napping a bit there. The little off speed puts that in between the seams of Eisenberg and Joey Jarvis. Great serve by Metcalf, and stuff like that is exactly what you said. That's how you can stop a middle offense, is good aggressive serving.
Yep. A little bit of an off speed or two.
Shavers had enough time to max jump, take a sip of a coffee, read the morning paper, and then decide where he wanted to hit that ball. He was hanging around up there.
And he does. He's quite the leaper. A world-class volleyball player right there.
You say world-class, he's played professionally over in Italy. He's a gaucho out of Santa Barbara. He really is. There's no hyperbole when you say that. He has played in some of the highest matches and highest leagues all around the world, and he's still a young guy, so promising career ahead of him.
Absolutely. Excited to have him here as part of the National Volleyball Association.
Stingers closing up that gap, though. Mencia, great float serve down the line. Joey Jarvis, the option, a block touch, sends it back. Going back to Jarvis, and this time he goes wide. That's the stops that we need to see from the Stingers. They're going to tie us up, and it's a great effort there by Shmelyov in the middle alongside Leo Durkin on the right. A good block touch, and that's going to force an error. They're going to need to see more of that. Jarvis with a hand pass backside to Santiago. Dig in the back row by Romero, bump set, and it's going to be swung by Romero. An aggressive swing and a hard one to find, but looking to see if he can get a little free point there, catching the Stunners out of system. But Nick West ready to put up a block and make sure nothing easy going over.
We'll see what Jair can dial up here from the inline now. His first service attempt earlier was an ace, cross-court winner. Let's see if he attacks the line this time.
Misses that one just wide, and he's notorious for hitting both line and deep angle. Kind of the same mentality as our last player of the game, Will Ragland. He's a lot of the grip it and rip it kind of guy. Storm with a big serve. Shavers passes tight, and West there to get Demi an option. We saw them go for 5 middle sets in a row, and it cooled off a little bit, but they returned right back to it.
Yeah, you know, that pass was in system. Demi's a taller setter, about 6'3". He's able to go up and get that tight set and give it to the 6'9" Nick West for a kill.
Jarvis goes with a bit of a lollipop jumper there. And now we see Stingers return one out of the middle. Shmelyov there ties it up at 14-14. And man, without the score, you would think that the OC Stunners were ahead by multiple points, but the Stingers determined to get in there, find little points, maybe an ace here and there, get a good dig and side it out.
Yeah, they've clawed their way back and done a nice job doing so.
That one goes wide. This speaks to the value of good blocking. So many times it's exciting to get the straight down house, but you know, so many smart hitters are not going to give you the chance to do that. They're going to swing around you and swing off high hands, so a well-formed block may just yield swings out of bounds. Corey Chavers with one of the most incredible angle swings that we've seen this weekend, going 4-4. That was quite the cut.
That hit Romero's right foot, which was standing on the 10-foot line. With 2 blockers in front of him, Corey Chavers is able to cut off that angle. That's impressive.
West misses that one. But that's going to bring us now to the first Stingers lead of the match as we go into our second technical timeout. That is impressive. This is what speaks to the value of being in the same system from BYU, being teammates for so long. And this is one of those sports that while you see the physicality of the Stunners and that creates value in and of itself, volleyball is a sport full of guys that play, well into their 30s. And having that mindset, that experience, and being able to game, at a high level, it is so valuable, and that's what we're seeing here from the Stingers. You cannot rattle that team. Yeah,
I like what I'm seeing from the Stingers. They've stayed calm. We saw the Stunners come out, and they went quick set. 5 out of the first 4 attempts were kills out of the middle. Well, the Stingers didn't, back up. They just kind of hung in there, let them get their big flashy kills, but they knew that there'd be some hitting errors along the way, maybe a couple service errors, and they were going to get their opportunities as well, which they've done. So by keeping it close and then producing a few points, Stingers find themselves in the lead after what was such a clearly lopsided start to this game.
Yeah, and I'd love a quick thought before we get right back into this. If, there's multiple ways to play every position, but what are your thoughts on the differences between offensive and defensive middles and how they can influence a match?
Well, that's a great question, Nick. Offensively speaking, a middle is only as good as the passing that they're getting, so his setter can set him. Defensively, you just got to be ready to block anything that comes your way.
There it is, and Jair Santiago sees the line, slams it down the line for a big kill. Demi now going back to float.
So Nicola Demi, that's not how you say his full last name. We're working on the phonetic pronunciation, but making a nice debut here in the NVA. Winning his first match, player of the match on Friday in his first match as a Stunner. See his setting technique is quite good. Once again, Demi will go back to hit another jump float serve.
And this time targeting Romero. Durkin goes back to the middle. Metcalf puts it over. Bumps that up to Eisenberg, and Jair swings on a step close dug by Storm. Backside. Romero goes for the big swing. but the even bigger blocking duo of Chavers and Shane Beamer are ready. Shane Beamer right there on your screen just came back from a season in Denmark where he was voted the most valuable middle, and you see why right there in action. 3 kills already and a solo block, or a straight down block right there. Back set, and they go right back to Inovel, but Inovel not to be taken down. It's really funny. The 2 Cubans here on the Stingers, if you watch Mencia and Inovel, anytime they hit it off the block, you guys were mentioning this earlier, they sometimes they'll just kind of look through the net. I have no idea what they're looking at, whether it's an intimidation thing or just enjoying the moment, but they both do it, and it makes me laugh every time.
Probably a little bit of both. You want to make sure that the blocker sees what the hitter saw and is checking them out after that tool down the line. But, yeah, I've noticed that as well, too. It's a fun little aspect of this, the game within the game, Nick.
Chavers going after his jump, passed by Inovel Romero. And there's Mencia buries down the line, and that was the big question marks for me coming into this one. Mencia's had a little bit of a tough weekend, uncharacteristically so. Someone that's been a steady rock for the Stingers. Inovel Romero's had some up and down moments that, you know, they might have made some personnel changes, but both of them right now are dialed in, so we hope to see that continue. Shane Beamer there makes a hitting error, and like you said, the Stingers were waiting for their chance to pounce, and we're seeing it now.
Just weathered the storm a little bit early on. Again, it's a head nod to their calmness, and once again, just not overreacting to what was coming at them.
Beamer able to get that kill, though, and you see Demi's trust in Beamer there goes right back to him, anchored by a great pass there from Eisenberg, also coming back from a stellar season over in Israel. Landed, was home for a week in New York, and headed right out to Atlantic City to join the guys.
I'm sure they're happy to have him.
Beamer with the float. High ball, that's going to have to go to the outside. Now Storm swings into a triple block, touched, and Chavers takes the second ball. Jarvis puts it over. Durkin goes on a fast set to Storm. Storm running on a very quick tempo there, uses the high hand, and it's incredible that he was pretty much at the top and same height as the block there of Jair Santiago. There's about a 7-inch difference in height, but Storm making it work for him.
Yeah, Storm's an athletic kid, too. He can jump well. He's got good range. Cagey little shots here and there that he can pull out whenever needed.
And, you know, caginess is great, but so is sheer brute power. Jair Santiago in the one-on-one able to crush that hard into the angle, unable to be dug by Jorge Mencia.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit, too. Jair Santiago is definitely physically stronger than he was this time last year.
Oh, yeah. And talk about physical strength. Forces the overpass from Kai Duquem. Gets Joey Jarvis an opportunity for the overpass swing. And that's one of those things I actually talked to Jair quite a bit. If you watch him any given week, he's got what looks like those octopus suctions all over, doing a lot of the cupping. He's got a lot of shoulder stuff that he tends to work through for as hard as he hits it. So he's been working with their coaching staff, some physical trainers, and a variety of the other guys on that squad to help fix where he needs to locate the ball and keep it in front of him.
Yeah,
because I was just going to say, bad approaches was what leads to his injury. So
yeah, and when you look at the physiology of his serving technique and the torque, right, that he's placing specifically on his elbow and shoulder joint from jump serving the way that he does, which is effective, you know, clearly, you know, it's going to wear and tear, and he's got to do that ancillary work to really make sure his shoulder is strong, you know, to recover and then keep it strong and effective throughout the entire length of the season and not just one match at a time. So
certainly the case, and he was formerly a member of the Ontario Matadors. During the offseason, he moved over to the coastal counterpart of the OC Stunners.
Yeah, the depth of the Stunners has definitely become more cognizant and present this weekend, especially when you see a guy like Nick Amato, two-time second-team All-American, two-time national championship middle blocker from Long Beach State, on the bench, right?
Yeah, and just right there you see the physical presence of Nick West and getting the job done. And it's incredible because while Nick Amato has been an all-star all weekend long, you see that West and Beamer are performing and firing on all cylinders all the same.
Yeah, there you see Nick on the sideline there staying warm. It's okay, Jair got the green light on that one after his first 2 points were scored, and Stunners now have that 2-point lead back. Storm's going to take a chance here and see what he can do for his team from the inline.
He loves attacking a hard seam-driven ball. Maybe it'll work for him here. Handled well by Jarvis. Big set tipped over from Shavers. Wow. He had so much time in the air. He went with a one-handed tip, brought his second hand up, and then set it over. And not seen early enough by Duquem.
Talk about crazy grid court vision to see what was going on mid-air and change his mind. Impressive stuff right there from Corey Shavers.
Jarvis now on set point number 1. Misses that one in the net. Not happy about it. But the Canadian number 7 joining the Stunners for a second season is going to get a chance to make that back up in the service line right now. In the serve-receive line.
Here's Shmelev. Haven't said his name very much so far this set.
Shavers goes for a cheeky roll, but recovered, and Eisenberg's going to send it over. Goes short. Outside, and Inovel attacks the hands of Nick West, not quite over the net.
Romero making some good contributions. I believe that's his 3rd or 4th kill this match so far in this game. So the Stingers got to be happy to see that. Let's see if Shmelev can possibly tie this set here. Or will the Stunners take game number 1? And they do with a missed serve from Shmelev.
That one went the distance in terms of, any more points and we're in extra innings. So 25-23 for the Stunners. Definitely a great spot to be. But, wow, I'm really surprised to see how well the Stingers answered the pressure that the OC Stunners were starting that match off with.
Yeah, they really weathered the storm nicely. Credit to them for doing that, because we were sitting here being like, oh my gosh, what's happening? And you've seen these huge quick attacks every single time coming out of Shane Beamer and then Nick West. But, yeah, definitely credit to the Stingers coaching staff and players to just remain calm, right the ship a little bit. We've been saying that throughout the weekend. Let them make their big plays, but know that every big play or 1 or 2 big plays is going to result in also a hitting error and then some big plays of your own as well. So it's one of those things that going throughout the match, sort of how it unfolds, Stingers did a great job doing that. So,
yeah, definitely been a key piece for them. And like I said, sometimes they start slow, and if you look at them across the season, they've dropped some game 1s early on just to win it in the next 3 straight, and even sometimes going 5, but they tend to find the wins all the same. Obviously, missing Jake Langlois this weekend is requiring Storm faagata-tufuga and Inovel Romero to step up as a powerful duo. Also notable, Storm did not make the first event in San Bernardino, so this is the first time that they have been a 1-2 duo on the outside. So Inovel was not with the squad back in Utah. So this is the first time in the first weekend, and it's kind of asking a lot of Storm to play a role that he hasn't really had to before, but he's been having a great weekend that is not quite reflected in the standings just yet.
Yeah, and Storm's done a good job. He's carried a heavy load offensively for his team and from the inline. Also in the serve reception game, he's played a good role, and he's not afraid to be a heavy relied upon player for his team. But yeah, you make a good point. Sometimes the Stingers will lose set number 1, but they'll just come back, 3 sets, 4 sets, maybe pull out a win. It's going to be a little bit more of a challenge, I think, against the Stunners today in terms of what they're going up against and with the personnel and the offense that's going to be coming back at them. So it'll be interesting to see how the Stunners come back now after nearly losing that set with such a hot start. But can the Stingers really kind of put the pieces together to maybe have their own hot start and get a little lead established early on, change the flow of this match?
Yeah, and it's funny because we talk about their ability to serve tough, and it's one of those things that I don't know that I've ever associated the Stingers with being one of our top serving teams. They certainly minimize a lot of the errors, but they like to put the ball into play and give their guys a chance. Obviously, you're going to see guys have the green light like Storm or Jake when he's around or Inovel Romero, but there's a lot of smart serve management and they want a chance to play the rally. Alternatively, the stunner is a lot more explosive. You see the big servers like West, Santiago, Joey Jarvis hits that jump serve. Chavers going after it. So they're going to be far more server error prone. So that can be something that unfolds here as well. And we're going to see a personnel change from Joey Jarvis. We're going to see number 2, Chris Chappelle, making an entrance to the court here. Chappelle's had a variety of contracts overseas for a long time now. He had a stellar performance in sets 1 and 2 yesterday against the Las Vegas Ramblers. He is an interesting outside option, a little bit smaller. Also a lefty. One of the very few lefty outsides that you'll see. So that can throw some blockers off as the timing and way that the attack comes through changes significantly. We'll see how he gets it done here.
Yep, good point. Changing up the look a little bit.
Big swing, and it's got to be something about that left side of the court. The Stingers look for that first point to get scored through the middle with Metcalf, and if they're able to find some offense out of the middle that answers back with that stunner's pressure, that could be a great spot for them all the same.
So Romero's jump serve down the line at Chappelle.
Tips.
Shavers sets a little bit too low. Keeps it in play. Beamer there to block the Metcalf attempt, but it looks like that didn't go over the net. So as Durkin tries to streak his middles now across the court, that one just doesn't clear the top of the tape.
Now that big jump serve from Chavers here. Big jump serve into the net, but that's the volatility I was talking about. You're going to see far less missed serves from the blue jerseys of the Utah Stingers. Metcalf already scored an ace, attacking the scene between Eisenberg and Jarvis in the first set. And just as I jinxed him, he goes short into the net.
He'll never know unless he watches this video.
And in case he does, hi. Oh, there it is. Shane Beamer with the float serve gets the gets the hands of Shmelyov and gets an ace.
That was the line of the weekend right there, Nick.
I say a lot of words, and sometimes I need to say less. Hi. Beamer goes for that float serve once again, finds the hands of Storm. Swung back, and Chavers not able to corral that one back up into the air. Nice attack there for the Stingers. Mencia, someone that goes between jump serves and float serves. Right now sticking to his float. The target is Chappelle once again. West gets a block touch. One hand sent from Shmelyov.
Nice.
Wow. You see a one-handed pickup off of the block touch there. Romero puts it high in the court. Shmelyov so tenderly with the one-handed flick out to Storm on the outside, and I guess that's something he picked up as a lope at Grand Canyon University. Eisenberg's going to switch this court and go to the backside, and there's a swing into the net from the giant Jair Santiago. It's got to be over the net.
Yeah, unfortunately, that might not be. That's not his best attempt by any means. A broken play and a set coming from the libero, but I would have liked to have seen Chappelle get that opportunity out front.
Float serve to the hands of Chappelle, tight pass, but that's going to go into the middle, dug by Romero. Back set to Mencia. Mencia goes and hits that and gets a D-ball kill. We're seeing the Stingers now answering in a quick fashion with a 6-3 lead here. Short serve taken by Chappelle. Jair off the chest of Duquem, overpass, and West was very ready. I mean, that came back quick, but he was ready to go up and in that point in a rapid succession.
Some bombs being dropped there from Jair on the right side. Nick West getting his own overpass bomb coming down too.
Duquem laughing and giving a quick thumbs up through the net. Stellar defensive performance from him right there. Santiago finds the net once again, and that's sometimes the what's going to happen when you've got your biggest server on your team. You want them to be able to hit their serve anytime, and that's the mentality of the Stunners. They're willing to kind of live or die by that serve right now, and while it's a miss, that's just going to be the way it goes.
Yeah, you'd like to see him progress a little bit as opposed to just blasting it in the net on his first attempt, especially when they find themselves down by 2 or 3 points, as they do now.
Definitely the case, and while it can be aggravating at times to watch, an important thing to understand for some of our viewers at home, if you're not hitting a serve that is an aggressive one to say the least, the ball's at a 70-75% rate going to get scored back against you. So you really have to dance that line between unforced service errors and really putting pace on the ball. It's a pretty complex situation to be in that servers have to address every point of every game as they determine what the current situation is.
Yeah, you see Romero there trying to match Corey Chaver's angle hit, and that one goes out of bounds. And see you now. Oh, no.
Chicken wing dug there from Eisenberg, set over by Demi. Duquim puts it in system. Mencia tips over the top, picked up by Eisenberg, and no one in the right spot to get a second touch there. Demi heading towards the net. Jair in his approach line. That leaves no one there on the right side of the court.
We were going to see our second ball of the day get stuck up in the rafters here at Harris. If you watched the last match, you saw a ball get ricocheted up there and didn't come back down, which was quite a surprise for everyone here to see. That one rattled around. Of course, it came back down on the same side, so it was still a live ball to be played, but the Stingers were able to score the point, and we've reached our first technical timeout. 2-point lead now to the Utah Stingers.
And we want to say a nice thank you to all of our sponsors that are supporting us here this weekend. JBJ Events, there you see their awesome event banner. They are a huge partner of the NBA when we do these East Coast events. Help us host them, find us a great venue, and they're a great supporter of growing the game. They host youth events as well as adult events, so there is a ton of matches going on here this weekend for them. So if you're looking for opportunities to play, make sure to check out JBJ Events and their support for the NBA. We also want to thank Harris Casino for hosting us, and of course, as always, Mikasa, the proud ball sponsor of the NBA. Technical timeout now coming to an end as these teams are retaking their spots on the court. Shmelyov, who had a great serving run at the end of that first set, almost brought the Stingers back, is now on the back line with a 2-point lead. See if he can generate just a little bit more momentum. Targets Chappelle. Set goes back to the middle, and Nick West not faltering in that attack line. Great swing into the middle of the court.
Nick West continuing to be an offensive threat that we've seen throughout this season. Really contributing nicely for the Stunners is number 9.
Goes down the line, taken by Duquim, and Metcalf gets his. Love to see it. There's a lot of confidence there from Durkin, a fine number 17 right now. He knows if they're going to match the Stunners, they've got to match the middle. Great pass as well from number 7 Kai Duquim battling in. That was a huge serve down the line from West. Comes fast, so good work by him. Chappelle with a hand pass here. Santiago goes down the line. These teams are trading blows.
Haymaker after haymaker, especially from Jair on the right. Keeps attacking the line. The Stingers keep giving him that line alley seam to hit, and he's taking full advantage of it, dropping bombs.
Demi goes short, takes Romero, and Storm dug by Eisenberg. High set to Chavers, no approach, chisels that one down the line. Chavers with a little bit of a gather step to get up and attack the high hands and go down the line there. Great work by him.
Yeah, he's the kind of guy that can jump so well. It doesn't matter if he gets a full approach or not. He can still rise up and make a kill happen.
Demi floats Inovel once again. That time gets the ace. Both these teams have clear serving targets. The Stunners are going after Inovel Romero with the majority of their serves, and the Stingers are going after the new outside number 2, Chris Chappelle. Stunners take a lead for the first time this match at 10-9. Same target, Romero hand pass, and that's going to go to Mencia, and Mencia uses the outside of the block and is able to beat the hands of Beamer and Santiago. Romero happy to get out of that serve-receive rotation where he was the target of several serves and get a chance to serve on his own now. Takes Eisenberg off of his feet, and Santiago takes one off of his shoulder. These liberos are the targets of some big offensive swings right now. Sometimes
don't even really know what to say. He just he hits the ball hard. I mean, he gets behind it, and just watch out below.
Sometimes you feel special wearing the other color, and sometimes you feel like you're a target. Kai DeQuim, the little yellow bee flying around there on the side of the Stingers, and Jair trying to take a couple swats at him. Metcalf now had a couple of, he's had an ace already, one error as well from the service line. Goes after Eisenberg, going to be a tight set, and that means it's a middle attack, but Beamer covered there by Santiago, who gets his swing. Misconnection paintbrush. Metcalf takes second ball, goes to Mencia. Mencia hits that off the outside hand and uses the smaller blocker of Chappelle. This is the Mencia we've wanted to see all weekend long. Continue just with big swings, some chiseled hand wipes, a variety of swings, and just being efficient.
Yeah, we've always known that Mencia has a lot of range, but it's usually a matter of how full is his gas tank. And
yeah, they don't have a second opposite really, so.
We've seen his gas tank get close to empty a couple of times. Being that it's day number 3 and match number 3 of the weekend, I'm curious to see how he finishes up here.
Aggressive serve by Beamer. Romero the target once again. And that's the really big part. And if you're a new fan of volleyball, just tuning in, understanding that this is not just one long match that is comprised of, it's 5 games, so that you're sometimes playing for more than just the current game at hand. You're trying to break players down, and they're really going after Romero to see if they can break his platform. But that time we see the serve finds Storm, and Storm is more than happy to take that one, go up, get a big swing, and punch it through the block of the Stunners.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that this is the only time that during the regular season that these two teams will play each other.
Yes.
Right? 10 teams in the league. Each team plays each other team one time throughout until the 4th event playoff system.
And there's the terminal block. We can't say it enough. Shmelyov might not always be the most offensive middle, but if you check out NBAUSA.com player stats, you will see that he is, in fact, one of the top blockers in the league, and they rely on him so heavily to get those block touches and slow down big swingers. Eisenberg now going to air one out for Chappelle, who tries to challenge the block, but no blocker home. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Sometimes the value of a great blocker is not giving you anything to hit, and swings go wide, just like we saw there from Chappelle. Mencia with another one that goes just long. He sees that Chappelle committed to a shallow location in serve receive. Sees if he can get him a little bit deep there, but sends it long trying to do so, which means Jair Santiago now with the ball in hands on the back line.
I'm going to say cross-court serve here, area 1 to area 1.
Oh! Wow, that's been a recent shot that Jair has been developing, much like big hitters know when to tip or roll over the top. He's been working on that off-speed serve there and drops it short in front of Romero. Finds the serving target even with such a overpowering serve is impressive to say the least. So great ace there from Santiago. And he returns to the power.
Wow, back-to-back aces of both kinds there from Jair. Wow.
And that's one that, that just hit Storm. Storm wasn't ready for that. It wasn't off his platform. That was off of his chest, arms, platform, stomach. That caught him unready altogether because he didn't go for the off speed that they were hoping for. He went full speed right back at it, and that's the value of having a variety of serves that all look like they have the same toss. You uncork a huge, powerful serve, catch the serve receive of the Stingers off balance. Great point, 2 back-to-back aces, and the lead now going into this technical timeout.
Yeah, Jair continuing to drop bombs from the front row and now the back row after that one. Actually from the end line after that one. Really impressed with that range between the two. Same toss. First one didn't disguise it at all. He disguised it extremely well because no one knew he was going to go short except maybe him.
Yeah.
And then that next serve where he just absolutely unleashes a bomb down the line that just catches Storm off guard and nearly hits him just like he has a target on his chest. Can't get out of the way of. And now with that technical timeout, what will it do for Jair now? And how will he react to it? Okay?
Yeah. You were dead on there. Thank you to my colleague, Mr. Ira Thor, making sure we are well hydrated here on the desk. The man is a legend and a great part of our on-air broadcast team. Huge thank you to him, having him here all weekend long. And that's a great timeout from the Stingers, able to mitigate a little bit of the serving run being created there by Jair Santiago.
A nice run by him. All for just tied at 16 still. A very close game.
Storm determined to answer back. Takes Eisenberg out of the system there. One-handed second touch there from Durkin, sent over by Duquem. And we go right back to the middle, but that's dug by Mencia. Outside set from Durkin, and that's chiseled off the block by Romero. Wow. Not only are the middles getting slowed down by good blocking, but we're seeing the Cuban duo of Romero and Mencia really standing in and picking up some big digs. Both of them now picking up a dig apiece against the middles of the Stunners.
No. Nice transition kill by Romero as well.
$17 apiece. Chappelle, an aggressive jump server. Loves going cross court with that unique lefty outside swing. Targets Romero outside, and Romero targets the hands of Demi. Right now, the Stinger pin hitters cannot be stopped by the block of the Stunners.
Yeah, Romero doing a nice job disguising where he was going to hit the ball. He kind of drifted away from it, which resulted in Demi kind of reaching out to him and creating a seam that he ended up hitting, scoring the point.
Shmelyov targets Chavers. Chavers the option there. Shmelyov gets a dig. Outside off the hand. Chappelle lays out, gets a dig. Now Chavers' turn, and he throttles that one deep, but no touch and no court found either. That's going to be out. And I believe that's a 2-point lead. Yes, 19-17. We'll get that scoreboard updated. There it is. I barely say it before it magically counts up twice. Shmelyov puts that one in the net, but a 1-point lead is held on to all the same. West once again, that aggressive server, seeing if he can generate some power. But a great pass, and that's going to be Storm throttling a Bick with the best of them. Storm right now determined not to be outdone by Chavers' back row pressure. Throttles that ball, and Chappelle unable to find the dig.
Yeah, well-timed Bick attack there. Kind of a back row combo play. So good that you couldn't tell if it was a quick set or a back row Bick attack.
Chavers now bump sets high to Jair. Oh, the big man delivers. That's where he lives. And I want to talk a moment about Jair Santiago. This guy came to the Stunners as a big upgrade for them on the right side, but where he had some holes in his all-around game and how he identified sets and how to manage them. their coach and the players worked with him, and they do week in and week out how to manage them, and his efficiency has skyrocketed. Great example of it there. Storm tips over the top, picked up by Eisenberg. Demi goes outside to Chavers. Chavers shut down with a terminal block of the duo of Romero. A little 1 and a 2 held up from Romero through the net to the bench of the Stunners. Not sure if that's a count of how many times he's gotten Shavers to Shavers getting him, but love a little bit of the chirping through the net. And, you can't talk through the net and go miss the serve. The Stunners bench happy to let him know that was a missed serve all the same, asking him, hey, man, where you at now?
They're all laughing over there.
Pass from Duquim outside. Storm dug by Chavers. Eisenberg takes the second ball. Chappelle with a little chip over the top, dug by Durkin. Outside to Mencia, dug and covered by Storm. Mencia goes again down the line, dug by Eisenberg. That one's going to be tight, and Chappelle's going to set it over on a sharp angle, finds it all the same. Durkin one-handed back out to Storm. Punch dig, set over by Shavers. Inovel Romero takes first ball, Durkin backside to Mencia. Mencia goes into the hard angle and beats Demi. What a huge swing there.
Wow, what a funny turn of events as Chappelle had to set that ball over, and Metcalf didn't pass it. All of a sudden, the Stingers are taking a swing at it, and great play-by-play by you, Nick, making sure everyone gets their appropriate credit on that call. Whew, good job. Catch your breath for a second.
I love to see the aggressive moves by both teams trying to find a way to better the ball with every touch. When you get into those scrappy rallies, everyone trying to find the next big play. How do you get the team off kilter? Even when you have to free ball it over. Chappelle almost got a point on that set over and ended the rally right there. Yeah. But we are seeing some effective one-handed setting. That time Durkin basically swatted a ball to the outside as it almost went over his head.
Yep.
And Storm able to find a good swing all the same. So he saw Shmelyov's success earlier and wanted to replicate it.
Yeah, just like that, we're seeing the Stingers take a 2-point lead here. Good action at the end of set number 2.
Serving sub coming in. Hamilton Day will make his appearance here as Metcalf heads to the bench.
That's a good substitution as long as Hamilton can make his serve, obviously. Keep the pressure squarely on the shoulders of the Stunners.
Finds his target, Chappelle. You said it's a great idea, and a great idea as it is. Fortuitous comments from Mr. Matt Prosser over here on the mic. Hamilton Day with a great execution on the court. See if he can get one more. Oh my gosh. And that's what great coaching looks like. Hamilton Day knows his role on this Stingers squad, and what a delivery right there for him.
Back-to-back serving substitution aces.
Can he go for 3? Back set to Santiago, and Santiago not to be outdone. It's funny, you see outside sometimes playing left back defense, whether they've spent time as a libero or when a middle serves, they make that little adjustment. But Hamilton Day as a setter, definitely not used to playing that left back defense.
Not used to having those bombs being dropped on him by Jair.
Romero with a perfect pass, and Storm on the inside set. Click, click, pull. A huge lob set to the inside, and Storm ends that one with an exclamation point.
What a response right there by the Stingers.
And that's the flair. You know, some of these guys, sometimes a little bit, not soft-spoken, but they don't say a lot. Through the net, they kind of play to their game, and they're the mental, they've got really strong mental game, but you love seeing that aggressive response. That one's personal, and they want to end that game in a loud manner.
Talk about an exclamation point on the end of that second set. Evening up this match at 1 game apiece, now effectively a best 2 out of 3 match in front of us. Nice response by the Stingers.
It's, it's an interesting thing. We talk about all these guys that have played overseas professionally, and as volleyball grows here in the U.S., every now and then some of these guys might have played in front of 1,000 or 2,000 people at high school matches, or not high school, sorry, in front of NCAA matches and things like that. But when you go overseas, it's very common that you're going to be in 6,000 to 12,000, 15,000 people in the stands, and that's an entirely different experience. I mean, that's one that the adrenaline alone will take your breath away when you're doing it for the first time. And also, if you've ever been to an NCAA match where BYU is playing, they travel better than any team in the country. There are BYU fans that will frequently out attend matches than the home team.
Yes, I know that very well, Nick. I have played against BYU quite a few times, both as a player and a coach. And there were multiple times when it did sound as if there were more BYU fans in a gym that was not their own. That made that match just that much more difficult. BYU, obviously, historically a very strong program. Additional, anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 more screaming BYU fans makes it just that much more difficult to play against them.
So definitely no new experience for them. They're used to the loud noise. They're used to the chirping. They're used to, being in the middle of that limelight. They answer back fantastically there as we're tied at 1-1. What do you think? Did you sometimes when you see a team get a win back like that, maybe the cards just fell their way? Do you think what we saw from the Stingers is going to be something that's sustainable and something they can replicate?
Well, I mean, if you're looking at the scoreboard, then yes, because they did have a nice response throughout game number 1, and then obviously coming back to win game number 2. But again, it's the longevity that I'm concerned with for the Stingers, specifically in their opposite hitter, Mencia. Want to see how far he can do this level of playing throughout this match. They don't have a very deep bench, so if someone was to get a little fatigued, they're going to have to ask more from their guys that are on the floor and really kind of counterbalance that out a little bit. But as you can see there from the Stunners side, we do see a couple of changes in personnel. You see number 10, Dylan Emery, coming onto the floor. 27, that's Randy Ramirez. We saw him set them to a victory yesterday. You also see number 22, that's Nick Amato. We've talked about him, another middle blocker. You see Chappelle staying on the floor as well as Corey Chavers. But a little change up here just to kind of change the flow. I think we saw this from Coach Adams yesterday as well. He knows his personnel very, very well, and he knows what he has available to him. So he told me himself he does have a quick hook. And if someone's not doing what they need to do or needs to make a change, he's not afraid to do so, and this is what we're seeing right now.
Certainly the case, and it appears, if I'm not mistaken, that second libero, Jake Hurwitz, may have had to travel home. I don't see him on the bench, so it looks like Eisenberg is their only suited up libero. But, it's pretty scary to see that they've got a bunch of guys on the bench that they so willingly toss in without a second thought. And we'll see how this crew works out here. Chappelle the target once again. Chavers goes up to take a deep swing, and they call that one in. Certainly very, very close, but it looks like it caught the, sometimes it looks like it's outside the line, but as long as it hits it in any fashion, that's in. And it's the same thing as if the ball compresses to hit the line, that is still in as well. So great swing. Duquem now caught high. Storm able to pull it back. Durkin sends it short into the net. Oh, tough angle to try and get that one over for Durkin, but that's going to be a nice 2-0 lead here for the Stunners, established early. Randy Ramirez with another float. Targets Duquem once again, and there's only one option. There's not even one option. The only option is an ace. Metcalf not able to keep that alive. Ramirez.
Randy Ramirez making an impact right out of the gates here as the first server.
Love to see that. Someone sits for 2 sets, comes in, ready to go.
Yep.
Now he targets Romero. Metcalf goes, and there's a touch off that one. Good response. Back to the middle. Romero not able to get the top spin he's looking for there, and that one kind of knuckles long. Chavers goes after Duquim. Durkin with a bump set, and Storm adjusts feet first on the swing right there and goes after Eisenberg, not able to handle the heat. Storm has such a heavy swing. That ball explodes off it.
Yeah, it comes off his hand with quite a pop. That it's always fun to watch.
Eisenberg with a hand pass. Oop. Tries to connect with Amato. Randy on a, there's a little disconnect there. It looked like Amato maybe on a push one route drifting away, and set location just a little bit off there. Now we're going to go ahead and see Metcalf once again, see if he can create a little pressure. This time goes down the line, attacks Amato. Double getting called. Randy not able to handle that one the way he wants.
Nice pass by Amato, but a better serve from Metcalf with his little jump float coming down into the stack here. This one he goes away and tests Chappelle. Amato finally gets that kill that he's been trying to get for the last couple of points from Ramirez. Amato's on the board.
And you can't double if you only use one hand. Nice little one-handed tap set there.
You're right about that. Another one of England's insights there. Can't double if you set with one hand.
That's the hot take for the day. And the other one is my John Madden input for the day is if you serve in the net, it's hard to score a point for your team.
Thanks for that, Captain Obvious.
Yep. I just need a little pin now to circle some problems on the screen, and we're good to go. Mencia now floats it down the line, and Chappelle just passes it to Josh Schnells, one of our NVA support staff over there on the sideline.
Stunners kind of struggling a little bit at the moment. Find themselves.
Chappelle pulls that one back in. Emery, the lefty, swings righty, and righty is the right way for him there. Able to manage that swing. Certainly not the set he wants by any means, but more than happy to keep it alive. Emery's someone that's been with the Stunners longer than anyone else on the current roster. Been with them since they were originally labeled the Blizzard. Set to the middle, and there's a huge kill from Shmelyov, the Russian, for the Stingers. (7-6), 1 point lead, and the next point for the Stingers sends us to a technical. Chappelle with the lefty swing there, dug by Storm. And that cover not able to be handled by Kai. Good double block there going to the right side. That was Ramirez and West. (7-7). This point will send us to a technical. Romero gets a pass that leads to a Storm tip over the top from the back row. Chavers takes a big swing, covered by Mencia, going out of bounds. Durkin tracks it down, bump set. Romero takes a big swing into a triple block, but that one goes straight down. You see the help from Chavers, West, and Ramirez. Something we haven't seen as much of here in this match that has had a ton of success for the Stunners team is their blocking prowess. We saw them playing the Ontario Matadors day one, setting up multiple triple blocks and shutting down the pin hitters of Mauro Isek and Jacob Vanderbeek. So good to see it getting involved here early. 7-8. We're seeing a battle. What do you expect to see in terms of adjustments on either team? Any guesses?
That's a great question, Nick. I mean, this is a little bit of a back and forth as it's been all match. You're putting me on the spot with that question. It's
I love to do it.
Broad in answers, but I think both of these teams, if they do need to make any adjustments, they'll be able to do so. What those adjustments are, that's what the coaches are for. Okay, that's why they get paid the coach's salary. They've got their strategies. They know how to push the buttons of their players to kind of get more out of them. For the Stingers, I haven't seen Shmelyov get any kills yet offensively out of the middle. I think the Stingers are sort of falling behind there. And then for the Stunners, 1-point lead. Ramirez, he came out strong out of the gates with some good serves, but gave up a couple setting errors. So both sides can clean it up just a touch as we have some rotation issues going on for the Stingers, some clarifications.
Just remembering where they were at. And we are all set here. Chappelle, ball in hand. Kai Duquem with a good pass. Backside, Mencia swings, hits the tape, but doesn't hit the blocker.
It's one of those plays where Mencia's attack clearly went off the top of the tape, but whether or not there was a touch from the blocker's arms to go that direction, our lines judge says no, it did not, in fact, touch the blocker. It was just out of bounds.
Romero with the pass. And you wanted to see a middle involvement from Shmelyov. There it is, asking ye shall receive.
Only if that would work in the casino, too, here in Atlantic City, Nick.
Lucky number 7. Ooh, Shmelyov, that serve absolutely stopped in midair. That looked like it was going out by about 6 feet.
Not sure why Eisenberg decided to dodge that ball. That was about at his head level and then dropped into the court for the ace.
That was a great serve. Just a quick note as to the kind of serves you see if you're unfamiliar. That ball that doesn't move, it's the equivalent of a knuckleball from baseball. It's called a float serve. The heaviest part of any volleyball is, in fact, the valve you use to blow up the ball. So that can affect the way that it travels. So when you get that big pop on your hand and don't create any top spin, that's where you're going to see all of that movement kick in. So while some of those serves might look like they're just going straight at someone, they can frequently move 4 to 5 feet laterally on the way.
West great technical insight, Nick. Thank you for that.
Do what we can. Oh, there it is. West steps in, gets a dig. Emery helps it out with a one-handed punch, but Chaver is not able to step close and get the swing he wants. That's exactly the kind of volleyball Stingers plays oh so well. When they're able to just stick in there and let other teams make the mistakes, they're going to get their chance to earn them. And there's a chance right there taken by Leo Durkin. An ace off the platform of Corey Chavers.
Yeah, really give credit to the Stingers for their disciplined approach to the game. Saw it earlier. They weathered the storm. They hung in there. They made their serves, didn't give up any free points. And we're seeing it again here as they're able to stop Chavers offensively with a nice block from Mencia and Metcalf.
And, I've got to share a little insight you and I were talking about before the game. We were saying, how does this play out? We're playing the what-ifs. And you said, I think the hard thing here is to say, do they have an answer to stop Chavers? And right now, the blocking moves from the Stingers have been good. Their defense has been good, and it's forcing some aggressive swings that we're seeing a lot of errors, whether it's getting blocked, hitting out of bounds, and it's starting to create a bit of pressure that causes unforced errors. So Stingers might be answering that question for us here.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see the characteristics of both these squads as we work our way through this match. Haven't seen any panic button hitting from the Stingers. Stunners have sort of kind of come back down to earth a little bit after that amazing start to the match. Got their hands full here now with the Stingers leading by 2 points.
Chappelle overpasses, taken by Duquem. Set to the middle, and that's going to be sent off the court. I believe that was Eisenberg unable to control that one.
Eisenberg disgusted with himself, frustrated. He gave up an ace a few points back and didn't dig that ball. So he's ditching the headband and has to get ready to pass again.
Is there going to be an undercall? I'm curious. Nope. Looked like Ramirez got away with one there.
One of those plays there, whether or not there was any contact, I think then they would have called the under, but being that the ball was down, no reason to call that.
And there's an ace into the corner. Wow, we are seeing Randy Ramirez doing some damage with his serve so far this match. He's come in set 3 and he's got 2, maybe 3 aces already.
Yeah, Randy Ramirez with the jump float, making an impact.
Now he goes after Duquem. One option to go outside to Mencia. Emery funnels it back into the court. Amato takes ball 1, set outside to Chavers, off the block. And looked like a little bit of a miscommunication on who's playing in that defensive seam there. Storm unable to track it down.
Yeah, hard to tell what was going on there as Storm stepped away, maybe looking for the high angle deflection cross court, and Chavers decided to go down the line for the kill.
Stunners answering back out of that timeout well. And Mencia finds that one in or off of a touch. Yeah, Randy touched that one, it looked like, on the way by. So a 1-point lead here now for the Stingers. Inovel Romero will try to generate a little bit more pressure with that serve. A little bit more pressure indeed. Chris Chappelle unable to battle with that serve, and Romero's gonna love to see that effort pay off for him. A 2-point lead generated now with that serve.
There's never a bad time for an ace. Romero dialing one up there.
Answering back to Ramirez, service run well. If he can get one more, that's gonna open that lead back up to 3. Kept alive by Eisenberg, back set to Chavers, and Chavers down the line, dropping the hammer. Chavers points to Ramirez and says, that one's all you. Great set and location, letting him get after that swing.
Hadn't seen Chavers hit from the right side for a little while, so good to see that change up there from the Stunners.
That one's going to go into the net, resuming the 2-point lead, and that's going to take us to a technical timeout here as the first team to reach 16 will initiate the second technical. Man, Stingers really feel like they are, even with a different bit of personnel, they're also missing Rusty Lavaya, who normally plays middle alongside Shmelyov. But Metcalf doing a great job stepping in as that third middle, and the duo right now of Storm and Inovel Romero able to get some damage done. So you'll love to see that even in the face of adversity, that team is finding ways to score points, and they're not missing a beat. If they're able to take down the Stunners here, we're going to see a funny little triangle of the three of the biggest teams here that were back in Utah, where the Ramblers take down the Stingers, the Stunners take down the Ramblers, and then the Stingers get the Stunners. It's one of those little rock, paper, scissors games that leaves Team Freedom happy to be the only team 5-0.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very interesting to see. It would have some implications here if the Stunners are not able to pull off this match victory. Also help the cause of the Stingers to leave the weekend at 1-2 as opposed to 0-3.
Yep.
Definitely help their cause.
Hamilton today back in as a serving specialist for Metcalf. Goes just long. You see that quick kind of height check right there. Shavers realizes that one's at about my mid-chest, sees how much it's moving on that float and just lets it go. That's years of experience knowing your height and how fast the ball is moving if you're going to let that happen. So good play by Shavers. and you don't have to use as much experience to get out of the way. A serve like that, Amato launches that one.
Well, it seems to be this service lull through games 3 and 4, where sort of everyone starts out hot, and then everybody cools down, and then they've got to find their serves again, ratchet them back up as the match continues.
Certainly the case. It's tracked down by Storm. And you know, when I give so much credit to the defensive effort of teams like the Chicago Untouchables and the Texas Tyrants, it's because they chase moves like that as 6. A couple of Stingers in pursuit and a couple not. That ball probably pops up if everyone's ready for it, but we're back into the action here, and Ramirez lands under the net completely. That should be a point for the side of the Stingers. Yep, there it is. Glad to see Shmelyov okay.
Nice idea by Ramirez, but unfortunately momentum just taking him into the net for that violation. Stingers getting closer to the first team to 20 here with a 2-point lead. See if Storm can add to that.
He does, but for the side of the Stunners. And now that's going to be a serve from Chris Chappelle. It's always interesting to track that with these new personnel, the way that they change their offensive look. You know, Jair Santiago is scoring so many points, and now you remove him from it, and they've got to find points different ways, and they're still being successful in doing so. Reset there by Chavers. West goes out, and you can't do that. One of those things, I always talk about overpasses as an interesting point. When you're younger and you get the overpass, so many teams are not disciplined enough to get the quick block down. So you'll see players hit them back. However, in a case like this, you know, a quick reset there from Shavers guarantees that they get the set that they want.
Paul Clark with a jump serve right out of the gates, getting subbed into the match here. Shavers being able to wipe off the block. Attack goes off the block and out of bounds. Another kill for Corey Shavers. Here comes Nick West now with his jump serve from the left back portion of the service inline.
He hits a variety of serves, likes going deep into the court as well. Sometimes he'll go down the line, so you got to be ready for everything. There's the line serve, but Duquim is ready indeed. Romero goes for the swing, but there's a net on Randy Ramirez, number 27, so that's going to be a point for the Stingers.
Great response by the libero. Kai Duquim with a great pass off that serve from Nick West. Looked like it was certainly going to be an ace, but Kai just scooped it right up and side out by the Stingers.
Tight pass. That's going to be a back row. Or nope, that's good. He's front row, and that's going to go down.
Out. Hold on a minute. What's going on here? Was it?
Play some Jeopardy music while we wait for a little bit of clarity. Sure so what was initially discussed is everyone thought that Randy was back row. Randy Ramirez is in fact front row, so there's no back row attack. That ball then goes over the net, and now it hits the court, so the play is dead. But the question is, at what point or what part of the court did it hit? Was it in or out? So we're going to have a quick discussion for our ups, downs, and lines to figure out exactly where that landed, and we're going to get some clarity here in a moment.
So there may have been a net violation, perhaps, on the Stunners, but
I thought Ramirez might have netted too. There was kind of a lot that happened all at once. So you got a great shot there of our referees doing their job and due diligence. You'll also notice that they are mic'd up, and that allows them to communicate throughout the match and have the conversation between the up and down ref to make sure that they are synchronized, seeing the same thing, and allow for those great calls. So now the Stunners doing their best to stay loose in case this does not go their way. That, you know, we're kind of in that latter part of the game where a 2 to 3 point lead is not insurmountable, but it is certainly in that window where it's closing quick.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. If they're not going to call a net, I couldn't see if there was one or not. This appears to be the correct call. So Front row setter from Ramirez is going to be just fine, and that's going to be a 1-point lead now for the Stingers. A good point there for the Stunners.
Yeah, I think you can give that point credit over to Ramirez on the dump, as he's now the next server. See if he can create some points here for his squad.
Targets Romero, tight pass. Durkin goes to the middle. Metcalf puts a beautiful little paintbrush on that, paints a pretty picture, and that picture looks like a big fat +1 to the score of the Stingers.
Doesn't always have to be a thunderous kill. As long as it finds open real estate, hits the floor, it's still a point.
Romero just long. He is dancing with that foot fault line back there. Clearly didn't get one there, but he is cutting it right up to the edge.
Romero's jump serving's got a little bit cold for him through this third set, but Chavers obviously matches it with his service error as well.
One of the big upgrades we've seen with the Stunners has been their mental game between events 1 and 2. A team that was kind of emotionally a roller coaster in the past has been much more even-keeled here. Go to the backside. Chavers chips one, dug by Durkin. Little miscommunication who's going to take it, but there's no miscommunication about who's going to put that ball down. Number 8, Storm Faagata answers that phone call and gets a great point for the Stingers.
Storm had no approach on that swing. He just jumped straight up in the air and unleashed on that ball.
Before going to BYU, formerly went to Long Beach City College, teammate to many of our current LA Blaze guys, so a lot of friendships there in the league as well. Chappelle swings deep, dug by Romero. Quick backside. Mencia goes off the hands of the double block of Chappelle and Amato. We're seeing a set point here in the third. And we're going to see a serving substitution coming in.
Nope.
Can't tell. Nope. Yeah, they're undoing the substitution last time. It's a little complicated to explain rotations like that, but it's Metcalf returning to serve.
And a timeout taken by the Stunners, I think. What was going to happen was Coach Daniel was going to take a substitution and then was told that he only had one substitution left, so he wouldn't be able to sub him back out. Or, in fact, he may have 0 substitutions available.
What I think it was is Hamilton Day already came in for Metcalf, so you cannot redo that substitution.
Nice job, Detective England.
I try. Sometimes I trip through my words, but usually the thoughts provide a little clarity, so I appreciate the timeout call from the Stunners there to give me a chance to figure out what was going on. Appreciate them and all they do for us here on the broadcast.
There's a lot going on between your ears, so it's good that you were able to figure that one out for all the viewers to understand what just happened there and why that substitution was not going to happen.
That's why we do what we do, Matt. You know, we've been working hard all weekend long, like I said earlier. Appreciate joining, having Ira Thor. And there we are. Hi, guys. We're dialed into the game here, wanting to make sure that we're getting the best looks we can. And you got Metcalf with the float. Chavers jams that down over the top, and once again, he sees the defensive move. Durkin charging the net, thinking it's just going to be a tip over the top, but instead he kind of throws it in the corner, and Durkin was not ready for that with the move he was making. Yeah,
absolutely right. Nice, well played move there. As Nick Amato now going to serve for the Stunners, although it's set point for Utah.
Storm tries to swing that one over the net, not able to do so. Amato able to finish out the match yesterday against the Ramblers with some back-to-back aces. So someone that knows how to create the pressure from the service line and see if he can clutch up once again, still down by 2. Romero gives a bit of a bailout pass here for Durkin to handle, and West goes up, and there it is, the defensive combo, the block of Shmelyov and Storm, number 8. That's a great stop, and that's going to end set number 3, Stingers, in what I would call quite an upset given how the weekend was going for both of these teams, currently pulling ahead by 1 set.
Yeah, we were talking about it before the match started, kind of putting some bets out on the table between you and I on what our predictions were, and I said Stunners in 3. Obviously, I've lost that bet. I think you said Stingers.
I said Stunners in 4.
So that's going to be off the table here, as if the Stunners do want to win this match, they're going to have to do it in 5 games. But right now, Stingers, maybe a little bit of an upset, and taking a good stronghold here, 2-1 through this match. So.
Now I said Stunners in 4. Are you sure you didn't mishear? I thought I said Stingers in 4. And that's what we're queuing up for right now, potentially.
Well, we don't have anything on video proof, Nick, so it's your word against mine. And pretty sure you said Stunners in 4. But
yeah, well, I was going to say, if it's your word against mine, I think everyone at home is going to go with you there. But, the Stingers really putting on a great performance here, showing a little bit of grit with a variety of personnel to get the job done. So this would be a huge win.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what comes from the bench here of the OC Stunners, and if they're able to change up their lineups a little bit. They have not been in this situation through the weekend, to be down 1-2 and also facing a match loss possibly. I know they want to finish this weekend undefeated, and right now they really need to determine how they want to come out of the gates and see if they can sneak out a win or at least force a Game 5 for this match.
Certainly the case. We're going to take a quick look at the standings here, and that's the schedule. Apologies. So after this one, we're going to have the Matadors and Team Freedom. And after that, the Blaze Ramblers, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's going to end our event too. But in case you didn't get enough volleyball, don't worry. Make sure to follow, like, subscribe our YouTube channel. Check out NVAUSA.com and follow along on the NVA USA Instagram. We have tons of content that's coming at you at all times. Tons of these players are not only playing in the league, but they're creating content and helping the league grow. Middle blocker for the Stunners, Shane Beamer, writes a ton of articles. You got about 7 or 8 press articles releasing every week, telling you exactly what's going on in the NVA, giving you the backstory of every team. So this isn't just kind of 4 events a year and we're done. There's a lot of effort being put in, so make sure to check that out, engage with it, find out what's going on. We've also got our Quest for the Cup mini-series on NVA USA's YouTube, where I get to sit down and talk everything NVA related. We talk about pre-tournaments or pre-events, post-events, highlight players, talk to the owners from all these different teams, and establish what you should know about these teams and why you should be a fan.
Absolutely, yeah. Check out NVAUSA.com for that team website and maybe some special team merchandise maybe that you can pick up at some point here and there.
Yeah. And so that's a big part of what it is to grow the brands here. So a variety of these teams have merchandise available today. You can swing by. We have a booth here at the NVA court in Atlantic City if you're in town, or you can always check out a variety of the team's different stores on Instagram. They've been opening stuff up. LA Blaze, some merchandise. Southern Exposure's been having a variety of merch drops. Texas Tyrants, wow, excuse me for that one. Texas Tyrants had a big drop right as the team was brand new, and so you can look forward to that kind of stuff. Team Freedom, always a very prevalent brand to get involved with. So, the rest of them going to be doing that as well. And there you can see it, Blaze, Southern Exposure. A couple of those signs are being made by Southern Exposure as well. NVA official gear as well. And there's going to be a store opening up soon on NVA USA for a chance for you to get everything you want to be a fan of the league. Support it and rep that gear proudly.
Yeah, good stuff there. I think the standings are ready to get brought up now onto the screen if we can see those. And we have it.
There it is, and we've got we've got right here the Ramble. As you can see, now this is the standings as of the beginning of the day. So we're going to kind of go down, break it down, give you some updates. So the Las Vegas Ramblers 4-1. They're going to be playing that last match in an American Conference standoff against the LA Blaze. Untouchables picked up their 3rd win of the weekend, 3-3, alongside the Tyrants. Both of those teams had stellar weekends, and that showed the real strength there we're seeing in the American Conference. 2 3-0 weekends from that team means that a Stingers loss here actually drops them from a first-place start on the weekend to 3rd place. So definitely an important win. If the Stingers can get this one, they're going to hold on to that 2nd-place spot. Now, over in the National Conference, Team Freedom is going to have that interconference match up next against the Matadors to see who's able to lock that one down. Obviously, Team Freedom would love to keep the only perfect record in the league, but with a 2-win gap between them and the Southern Exposure, not as critical as a win for the Matadors, as they are currently being chased tightly by the Tornadoes. Now, when I say being chased, what I'm referencing is we have our third event in 2 weeks, and the fourth event is going to be followed after, and only the top 4 teams from each conference will qualify for that. But for a little more information, we are joined on the sideline by Ira Thor. Ira, take it away.
Hey, Nick. Well, during the last 2 timeouts, listening in on the benches, talking, and for the Stunners, really concentrating on moving the block. They feel as if they've been giving away too many swing opportunities by not adjusting to the attackers. Also have discussed grinding out, really stressing the importance of playing each point by point and just the game within the game. Meanwhile, for the Stingers, really want to work on working more attempts with their middles when they get a good pass off of the reserve. Meanwhile, both teams have had 34 kills in a match, but Utah's been the more efficient thus far, 57% kill percentage, and that is why they are now leading 2-1 as we head to set number 4. Back to you guys.
Thanks so much. Great to hear a little bit more breakdowns and, hearing what those teams are talking about. It's interesting as Matt, myself, and Ira are getting involved and hearing what those teams are talking about. It's so interesting to hear what a variety of coaches and what a variety of players are talking about. And we talked about it quite a bit yesterday. Just a quick note, we were getting the net reset, so we're just giving our team one moment here before we get right back to it. But that's why we're taking a step back here. But I mentioned it a little bit yesterday. At this point, so many players on every one of these teams are coaches at the collegiate level, at the high school level, at the high school club level. So you're not just one coach over there, but you have 7, 8, 9 coaches per team. So everyone working together, trying to create dynamic solutions on the fly and problem solve together with the given tools.
Yeah, great point, Nick. I mean, it's definitely a work in progress over these 3 events, getting everyone geared up through the meat of the season leading into that final event. Our rosters are locked everywhere. No more additions can be made to the team, so you have what you have, and it's up to you now on how you choose to best use them. Looks like we'll have our net system has been reset. The teams are starting to come back out here, and we'll see what kind of changes have gone on between that extended time between sets 3 and 4. It appears to be the OC Stunners are going to bring back what looks to be like how they started the match off, with Demi setting now, number 43 in white. I see Joey Jarvis back on the court, number 7 starting as an outside hitter in the back row. Front row for the Stunners, number 6 Corey Chavers, number 3 Shane Beamer, and number 15 Jair Santiago in the opposite position. So the Stunners making another personnel change, going back to how they began the match when they did win that first set 25-23 before losing the next 2. So Stunners finding themselves down 2-1. Meanwhile, on the other side, the Utah Stingers not making any personnel changes, going with the same crew. Going to be interesting to see how Mencia and Romero will handle that extended break between sets 3 and 4. But we're all set here now as we get back to NVA action here from Atlantic City. Day number 3. Demi to serve now. Passed out his system, saved by Metcalf. Free ball coming. Here comes the Stunners. Quick to Beamer, but that ball goes into the net. So give a point over to the Stingers as they're able to weather that first serve scramble. And a hitting error goes to Shane Beamer and the Stunners. Now here's Inovel Romero with his first service attempt of game number 4. Stingers looking to close out this match in a 4-game victory. Passed up by Jarvis. Here comes left side by Jair. Runs under it, controlled. Romero out of the back row, but dug. Santiago again, roll shots it over, and dug by Storm. Storm on the left in transition, and that ball gets stuffed down by Shane Beamer. Nice blocking form there by the middle blocker, Shane Beamer, and Jair Santiago, 6'8" and 6'10", respectively, putting up a big block that Storm can't get past that time. Chavers now with the jump serve, pass by Romero. Storm again from the left, and that's controlled. Durkin plays it up. Comes a set to Mencia. He's going to free ball it over. Sets it to Jair. Dimi goes quick to Beamer for a reset, but that's controlled. Mencia on the right, cleanly through the angle for a kill. Jorge Mencia with a nice swing in transition. Mencia looking through the net, looking for his next victim on who he's going to block. And here's Metcalf with the jump float, passed by Jarvis. Back set quick to Beamer, and that's dug by Durkin. Here comes Mencia again down the line, but dug. Jarvis on the left side, tipped again, controlled. Comes a little set, a little bit too tight, but controlled by Romero. Mencia again, no approach, but dug, still alive. Shavers with a nice snap for a kill. Wow. Corey Shavers cleaning it up.
Wow, he's able to get a little bit of a luck out there that was Metcalf back there and not, Kai Duquem. But you got to score your points where you can. That's a great rally and some great calls there. Matt, thanks for the cover.
Oh, thank you, Nick.
We are back into it. Beamer sees a return to the match here alongside several players I'm already sure you have discussed.
We did highlight the personnel changes that have been employed by the OC Stunners.
Shmelyev swings, dug by Chavers, kept alive, and Dimi sets it short. Duquem takes it. Shmelyev goes to the outside, and an attempted wipe, not able to get outside the court there for Storm. Wow, what great discipline we see there from the block of Jair Santiago.
Good to see the Stunners come out with a little bit of sense of urgency to start set number 4, although it's only 3-2 now.
Serve goes long.
Fortunate service error there by Beamer.
Got a ball on.
Mencia now with his jump float, passed by Jarvis. Jair Santiago from the right side. Going cross court for the winner.
What an authoritative swing.
I sure hope you guys at home can hear what that sounds like when Jair hits the ball, because it is at a different decibel level.
It really is. Love that. It's such some great, not insight, but just a note. I mean, God, it thunders when he hits that. He's dancing on that line, very close there to a foot fault, but sends it long all the same.
Risk versus reward, Nick. Here comes Storm. He does have a good jump serve himself. That one finds the net. Point going to the Stunners.
Joey Jarvis, another one of those guys, much like Jair, that has the same toss that gets a variety of different serves out of it. So always got to pay attention if he's going to crush a jump serve or look for a little bit of an off-speed cutty cross court. That one goes for a little bit more of the power, but not able to find the swing he wants. Right now, a lot of trading blows in the sense of missed serves. So see if they can shore that up real quick. And any team that's able to do so is going to see a lead for themselves, I'm sure. Good double touch there from Metcalf. And Romero bangs one through the block. Eisenberg not able to come up with the dig, regardless of making a great defensive move. Romero really having a steady performance here for the side of the Stingers. Shmelyev goes down to Chavers. Chavers skies and hammers that, but dug and reset by Storm. A middle attack here, dug by Mencia. And a quick attack, dug by Eisenberg. Bumps at the outside. Chavers takes one more chip, gets a high hand swing, and now Mencia goes from the backside. Reset once again and swung back. The aggressive move there by middle blocker Nick West, not leaving that ball 50-50.
Nice heads-up play by Nick to a quick, explosive jump and drop a bomb of his own over there. Almost hitting like an overpass, and everybody know that he approves of that.
West hammers that home tight pass, but a reset as it's jousted on the net, sent deep by Mencia into the hands of Santiago. Dug once again by Mencia. Outside, Romero hammers into the corner, and that one goes just long, but there is a touch. No disagreements there, and that's going to be a great point and a critical moment there for Romero. Really nice reset in the middle of that play by Durkin, and a tight ball to get the little joust reset. Jarvis puts that one high in the middle of the net, and really only one option out here at Chavers.
Nice swing by Chavers. Really, really well played by him. Credit to the setter, Demi, for setting it just high enough. I mean, basically it was a bump set high enough for Corey Chavers to get his feet to the ball. Goes up and hits it down, and no blocker in front of him. He gets the kill. Well played by them.
Demi with a float to the hands of Storm. Up to the middle, and Metcalf off the shoulder arm bicep of Eisenberg. They go right back, and no dig that time. Huge. Metcalf has really been activated here for them, creating just enough middle pressure that if you don't respect it, he's going to get a kill. And if you do respect it, you're opening up the cannons on the outside between Romero, Mencia, and Storm.
Yeah, I think it's maybe one of the strategies that they planned on employing from the very beginning, which was to hold Metcalf back until later on in the match, establish their outside hitters and Storm and Romero and Mencia, and then start throwing Metcalf in, integrating him in later on in the match, and keeping the block of the stunners on their toes. And it's exactly what might be happening right now. So good to see Metcalf getting some late match action here, as the Stingers look to win in 4 sets.
Yeah, that would be, like we said earlier, a critical win for them. I know owner Russ Holmes would love to see that happen. You might have seen Russ play back in Utah, but currently helping run the event a bit more and maintaining a lot of pride as an owner of one of the top teams here in the league. So definitely look for the boys in blue to get something done, and a 1-2 weekend with the given personnel and the lineup that they had would not be a bad showing for them.
Yeah, I agree. That would be a good thing. Best case scenario if they're able to win this match.
And win it in 4, because that'll give them maximum 3 points, which they're going to desperately need for some tiebreakers now with the Texas Tyrants.
Mm-hmm.
Romero into Chavers. Chavers the set selection, but sends that one wide.
Chavers just misconnected on that one. He was going for the hard cross-court hit and just didn't get his whole hand right where he wanted it on that ball as it careens out of bounds.
Man, you are full of SAT words. I love it. Matt Prosser, the proctor over here. Careens, what a great one. Good pass here by Chavers, going to the backside, and that one is a huge swing, but lipped by the libero, and he goes one more time off speed, dug by Durkin. Duquim's going to take this ball, puts it straight up for Storm, and Storm takes his swing, and it is a thing of legend to get a dig like that against big Corey Chavers, but Duquim puts the hat on and stands in, ready to battle it out.
It was more like a helmet, but
what did I say?
A hat.
Oh yeah, it's a helmet indeed. I swing. If I'm swinging, you need a hat. Chavers, you need a helmet. There you go. That serve is long. But once again, you know, the way that the Stingers are scoring points across the board, a little bit of pressure from the service line is going a long way for them. So Romero's got to hit that serve like that, and it's paying off for them. So 2 points up still, even after the missed serve. It puts the pressure back on Chavers to come back and hit his serve. But he does, and that's going to go back outside of Storm. Ooh. But Storm is on fire all weekend long. He's just been the answer.
Nice response by Storm there. I think he's a little fired up after his teammate got that sweet dig, and then that's back-to-back kills for Storm. I see a personnel change here as Paul Clark is going to come in and serve for Metcalf. So Paul Clark gets some good outside hitter action on Friday.
He's been a huge role player. He's filled a variety of roles for them this weekend, and frequently at times that are very difficult. So not able to get it done there, but don't let that right there overshadow a great performance thus far. Substitution is going to be undone, and Metcalf once again will return to the bench. Beamer loves a float serve that catches many of the passers high, and that time just a bit too high, goes long. Like I
Stunner's
said,
serving. Sorry, Nick. Thanks. I just want to throw in really quick. The Stunner's serving has not quite been on point today. I think it's a little error heavy. That's either been error or a miss, ace or error, but few too many errors so far through today.
Certainly is, but the one thing that has not been off at all is Jair Santiago line presence. He is crushing balls down the line all match long with high accuracy and efficiency. We'll see if he's able to generate the same kind of pressure now from the service line. Romero with a good pass. And Storm inside, but there's a recognition right there from Nick West that that's coming in. A little conversation as that route is being run between him and Demi, that an inside set, and able to block both the middle and that set kind of at the same time with that overload right there. So maybe not the set selection you want to have in terms of a middle route, because the double block able to cover them both at the same time.
Yeah, and that pass sort of got pushed over in that direction, that half of the court. So overload is correct.
That one goes just wide, but anytime a big server like Jair is able to get 1 point in that run, still going to help shore up this little deficit that is counting against the Stunners right now. But a side out right away is certainly going to help. Deep swing there from Jair, and that one does not find any touch. That's way over the top. Again, we're just seeing Storm be the guy that's anchoring this team so well. He's applying so much pressure from the service line. He's getting dig after dig after dig and putting so much pressure on his outside swings as well. Chavers pulls that ball 10 feet off. Jarvis with a tight set. Storm with the dig. Durkin goes back to Shmelyov. That's going to get a block touch. And it's going to go outside. Romero swings but does not get anything on that swing. Everyone looking for a block touch. Conversations going on everywhere and none seen.
A lot of finger wagging, but no touch indications coming from the boys in blue there. Referee staff officiating, making sure to not get talked into a phantom touch.
Jarvis going right back after that same line, and Inovel Romero clearly the target of serves, but you know, that's one of the if you understand where the serving target on your team is, if you can react and protect them or get them dialed in accordingly, that's going to force the other team to make some misses. So it's hurting the Stunners right now, and Shmelyov goes after Chavers. And that's going to hit the antenna and go out. That's going to be a point for the Stingers. Stingers pulling ahead by 4. They are starting to create the spacing that they need heading into the second technical timeout.
Yeah, I was kind of holding off on that comment just until we got to this technical timeout to say that this is going to come down to crunch time for the Stunners here. 4-point lead is definitely advantageous for the Stingers. I'm sure they're quite happy with that, but no reason to let off the gas a little bit. They've got to continue to serve tough and create some problems for the Stunners passing and take their middles out of their offensive scheming right now, as they've been doing earlier on through this match. But
you know, this is clinical. This is exactly how the Stingers play almost every match. Like we said early on, it's not infrequent that they drop that first set and then they slowly but surely just claw back in. And we saw they were getting almost, it felt like a quote-unquote blowout in the first set. Mm-hmm. And then you look at the final score, 25-23. Yep. And then as soon as they get right back on the court with no personnel changes, they take an authoritative win by 4 at 25-21 in the second. And they open up an even further lead in the third. And now they are just on top of it here.
Yeah, they just kind of hang around. hanging around, waiting for that chance to score a few points here. They're kind of sneaky about where they are, but they're always ready to pounce a little bit, it seems like, on the opportunities. They're playing good volleyball. They're passing the ball efficiently. They're getting some nice block and defense actions, extending rallies, applying the pressure from the end line constantly.
Eisenberg with a pass on the net, and that's going to let Shavers get a big rip down that high angle line swing. Nice kill for him, sides them out, and going to give Nick West an opportunity to hit that explosive serve from the left side of the line. What a great camera shot. Look at it. Look at the man. Look at the flow. Look at the beard. That's the face of a killer right there. Ready to go after a big serve.
Took a little bit off that one.
There it is. One-handed dig from West. Love to see the middle playing defense. Swung by Shavers, and there it is. Nick West stoked to make that defensive effort, and that's where you can count on the well-rounded middles from the Stunners to make plays like that. Rips it down the line, pass by Duquem. Mencia on the backside just gets that one through the block, but right now that's an important role for West to play on the service line as he's able to get one real point back for the Stunners and help close that gap up to just 3 after the side out.
Quick note that Nick Amato's entered the game again for the Stunners, replacing Beamer, but Shavers with a bad pass, and Demi's unable to play that ball back, so nice easy point for the Stingers off of Leo Durkin's jump float serve.
We talked about it a little bit earlier that, sometimes your serving target is someone not for one game but for the match. And right now, Shavers has been getting probably 70% of the serves. And maybe this is the part where they start to break him down because he's feeling the expectation in his role to not only get kills but put on pressure on the service line. So when he's got a pass too, it starts to become a lot for an outside to manage sometimes. And they've been, making him do it all for a long time. So if he's feeling that pressure, it might be a time for the Stingers to take advantage of it.
Yeah, perhaps. I'm sure Corey Shavers is no stranger to expectations from his team, and I'm sure that was the case when he was playing for Coach Rick McLaughlin up there at Santa Barbara at UCSB last few years, and then obviously overseas in Europe as the foreigner on a team. He's expected to carry a heavy load, but clearly the Stingers have created a good game plan here and look for them to go right back at him.
And indeed they do. Back set now to Jair Santiago. Block touch to slow him down. Bunk set from Duquem. And you see Jorge Mencia is just entered his flow state. He can do nothing wrong. He's kill after kill after kill.
In the zone, they say, and Mencia really taking full advantage of that transition kill.
You see Romero shaking his wrist after that block touch against Santiago. Santiago hammers the ball, in case you weren't curious, if you hadn't figured that one out yet. So
better him than me, that's for sure. That's what I say about it.
Yep.
And you.
Well, like I mentioned it earlier on the broadcast at practice a week ago, I got up a little bit on the block and took a Jair swing off the left ear, and we stopped play for a couple minutes, making sure I was still aware what day it was. Inovel Romero dug by Jarvis, tight pass, and that's going to be West swinging in transition. Durkin goes back. Romero chips it deep. Eisenberg traps it down. Jarvis out of the back of the court. Bump set. It's tight. It's going over. Wow. And the greatest deception you've ever seen was the Stingers unaware that was coming over.
One of those tricky plays there. Mencia wasn't sure if Shavers was going to be able to hit that or not. And the Stingers are kind of standing around, not too sure what was happening, and then no one played it. So
you want to talk about a stunner? That's one right there, as everyone just kind of stands around and watches. Duquem high ball pass, 10-foot line. An attempted high swing from Mencia. Row one can be tricky right now for some of these teams when your opposite is swinging from the left and you're outside from the right. So the Stingers are definitely going to want to try to get out of this rotation early. Wouldn't be surprised if Metcalf gets a little involved as well. or Storm. But, Ooh, that one goes long. This is a rotation that the Stingers have to get an answer, and the Stunners are happy to keep that minute as long as possible. Once again, we're seeing the Stunners setters create a lot of pressure. Demi looks to extend the run.
No timeout called. I like that choice going to Storm out of the back row. He's been good with that.
And they go right back, tip over the top, dug by Demi. Eisenberg bumps that up to Chavers. Chavers buries it into the angle, and I think we're going to see a timeout here, right? Surely can't let 3 points go unanswered.
Coach Daniel probably kicking himself for not taking the one before as he started to walk up, but decided not to. I'm a little confused on the back-to-back sets out of the back row to Storm. I would have liked to have seen Romero get a chance overhead since he's in the front row, but he is hitting against Corey Chavers, so perhaps a block advantage over there as well. So here we are now, tied at 19 all. The Stunners have come back from that 4-point deficit that we were talking about just at that last technical timeout. They've created some nice momentum on their side. See if the timeout ices the serving game here of the Stunners. I'm not too sure who's serving for them at the moment.
And, this is going to be tough because when it feels like this whole set, when the Stingers are kind of back in their normal positions, it feels like they have really kind of been unanswered in what they want to do. So right now, Stunners really need to take advantage of trapping Stingers in row one and extend this as long as they can. A bump set goes to Mencia. Mencia tips an easy one over the top. Eisenberg goes to the right side. Jair covers himself. Metcalf tips it back over. Chavers now the recipient of that set, and he buries it into that hard angle 4-4. Gets a touch as well.
What a turn of events.
Yeah.
Nick. What a turn of events, just like that. No less than 3 minutes ago, were the Stunners down by 4. They now find themselves up by 1 and the first team to 20 in this set 4, looking to force a 5th set tiebreaker as Demi continues to serve.
Ooh, nice recovery by Jair, kept alive. Eisenberg's going to free ball it over. Taken by the Stingers, hand dug by Demi. Quick back set there across the court. And Shaver swings down the line, but does not find that one, and that's going to tie us back up at 20 apiece.
Huge sigh of relief from the Stinger side of the court as Corey Chavers misses that line shot. What can Romero do right now? He just didn't get set out of those last couple of opportunities. He's showing a little frustration. Let's see if he can keep this in play. Force the Stunners to side out.
Compounding errors. Critical one there. He's got to keep that alive. That's his role right there. Let his guys play. And you've got to hope that Chavers is not fired up after a couple big swings and feeling ready to go after the ball. But that's just a prayer because he's feeling good.
Yeah, that's a poor timing for a missed serve here. See, Chavers keeps his in. And see it down the line with a nice kill. Nice answer by Jorge Mencia. Whew. Battling back and forth now. Not a ton of excitement on the Stinger side, all business-like. Metcalf with his jump float. Goes to Jarvis. Amato comes flying across, one of his favorite routes there. Right to left, comes in for that push one set as he terminates for a point. Much needed side out. Back to the Stunners now.
Well, this is one of those serves. You know exactly what's coming. The question becomes, are you able to handle it? Romero is. That goes to the outside. Storm bangs that one in and finds the hard angle. Romero stays on the ground watching the beauty that was that pass and that swing from Storm. Faagata-tufuga.
Great cross-court winner there by Storm.
Race to 3 underway.
All.
Jarvis with a tight hand pass. Santiago able to use the size advantage he has there against Storm.
Curious to see now, what will Jair do from the end line? Is he time for one of those roll shot jump serves? Or will he go for another bomb?
There's the off speed, gets the overpass, but he passes tight. Mencia takes that one. Duquim tracks it down. Shmelyov sends it deep to Eisenberg's hands. And a back one to West. You know, Shmelyov's got to do more in the sense that when he freeballed that over, he put it directly into the hands of Eisenberg. And I'm all for if your decision is to put that ball high to give your team a chance to reset, but at a moderate speed of just kind of like a normal normal bump, he put it right into the hands of the libero. And obviously Eisenberg's going to take 70% of the court on that free ball anyway, but move it to the other side, try to take the setter out, do something more. A bump right into the middle of the court is just, I think it's a little bit of apathy or not thinking a step ahead. It's got to be better.
Yeah, or back to the corner. You know, there's a couple different philosophies there, I think. Obviously, if you know that the setter is in the back row, you want to get that free ball over to right back area and make that setter pass that ball. Now, if your back is to the net as you're hitting it over and you can't quite see where the players are, yeah, going high is okay, but I would rather see you go deep, use the whole length of the court, and make them then run their offense within that whole length of the court as well. So one of those situations that's easy for us to criticize a little bit, but in the heat of the moment might be kind of hard to tell if you're Alex Shmelyov what you were thinking and where you were trying to put that ball specifically.
Certainly the case. See if Jair Santiago can send this one into 5. He's got a 2-point window, so he better green light and see if he can get after this one. And he does. That's going to be a tight ball. Durkin gets a nice set to the middle, dug by Chavers, and that's not going to be controlled. Jarvis tries for a little double contact to set it back to himself and then swing it over.
Give some credit to Storm for a perfect pass, a dime, if you will, just right at the top of the net that Leo Durkin could set. Nice side out by the Stingers, but still set point here for the Stunners, looking to force the decisive 5th set.
Chavers is the target. Demi goes to Chavers. George gets a tight ball. Durkin resets here. Storm tracks it down, and it's going to be swung by Romero. Reset. Second ball's from Duquim. And Inovel Romero gets it out of bounds.
Wow.
I mean, you talk about having the guts to go for the swing when it matters most. Romero absolutely willing to put it all in the line and gets rewarded for it.
I mean, Durkin talking about that play.
You want to know why Leo Durkin's one of the best setters in the league, and that's what you see it. Absolutely willing to get in there, disciplined hands. Demi goes to Jarvis. Jarvis with a chop over the top. Easy roll shot picked up and going back to Romero. And Romero looks for the high hands, but a little late to the swing. Goes low arm contact to high finish and no contact there. So that's going to be a point for the Stunners.
What a break for Joey Jarvis to put that just absolute lollipop roll shot over. They are so fortunate that that ball got hit out of bounds because that was a
gimme.
That was definitely a gimme if I've ever seen one.
And now he serves it out the back. Tough break for him. He's going to now try to make that up in serve receive with a good pass, see if he can get Chavers involved early on. Eisenberg, the passing general, looking to shore everything up here and make sure he's in system. Shmelyov down the line, good hand pass by Chavers. To the backside and Santiago attacking. We're seeing Demi making great set selection choices. Jair has been swinging well down the line. You know there's no libero there, making Shmelyov play some defense, and that's going to go down quite frequently. So good set selection, good identification.
Nick West now serving for set point.
Kai Duquim with a great pass, goes to the middle, and Metcalf misses that one wide, and we're going the distance. We said it last night, this is the match to tune into because the Stingers Stunners Battle Royale was going to be the one to watch today. And it is going the way.
We got 2 more matches to do still, Nick. Getting a 5-gamer here on day 3.
Marks the middle of the day very nicely with a little anchor pin drop right in the middle. Well, we are seeing both teams trading blows, giving us a lot of exciting volleyball. And that's what I like. Sometimes you see these games that the quality of volleyball, you look at the scoreboard and you're like, wow, it's close, but the quality of volleyball, you're not feeling great about it. These teams are trading blows.
Yeah, you know what? This is a very high-level game, and we're joking about going 5, but I'm excited to see this 5th game because you know that there's going to be some serious haymakers being thrown, some bombs being dropped from both sides, some stunning going on, and maybe a little stinging as well. But, couldn't imagine a better way for this match to end than to go 5 sets to really see who the better team is here today.
Absolutely, and to kind of bring it back really quick, we talk about the points. That means whoever wins here only scores 2 FIVB points, which are so important to both of these teams because, the Stunners trying to climb back from that 0-3 hole they put themselves in from event 1, and meanwhile the Stingers trying to avoid an 0-3 event here in event number 2. So it's about to be a little bit of a tables have turned,
It's
from
worth
the 0-3
noting
3-0.
that the Stunners, if they do go, in fact, on to lose this match, they will score 1 point towards their point total as a 5-set loss.
Right, and as would the Stingers. But
Correct, yes. That is sort of one of the consolation prizes for, in fact, losing in 5 sets is that you do get to take home 1 point towards your season-long total as opposed to losing in 3 or 4 games and not gaining any points for those losses.
Sometimes early on it's hard to tell where those are going to matter. That first event when a lot of teams are brand new between the Tyrants, the Untouchables, and the Tornadoes. You don't know what to expect to see and how those games are going to impact them later on. But now that we're 2/3 of the way through the season at the conclusion of today, you're starting to see where matches later on, you hope they don't bite you, and some teams are going to be happy that they got wins when they did. If you're a team that was able to get a win on Stunners in event 1 when they went 0-3, you are counting your lucky stars because you probably wouldn't have beaten them this weekend.
Yeah, but at the same time, when you do, and if you do get to play them a second time, you better have done your homework because they're a much different team the second time around that match will take place.
Certainly the case. Well, this is one of those matches that delivers so well because these teams are both just full of players that have played professionally overseas. They played in front of huge crowds, so no one's getting rattled. There's no young athletes here that haven't been here before. Every single athlete on the court right now for the Stunners has played outside of their home country.
That's a great point, Nick.
So while they might be younger than some of the Stingers athletes, they're certainly well-versed. And it's pretty incredible to watch as players enter there's a SoCal gym where the Blaze Stunners and half the Ramblers squad train. It's pretty incredible to see as new players make one of those squads and begin training if they're fresh out of college. They might have been an all-star in college, but you put them on the gym, this is a different level. And so to see them playing against guys that have played 4 or 5 years internationally, your physical prowess as a younger athlete starts to matter very little very quickly. So definitely exciting to see this one get underway. And Durkin goes right back to Metcalf. Metcalf with an error on the last point of set 4 wants to get that one back right away, and he does indeed. Point number 1 for the Stingers.
Nice repeat there by Durkin to Metcalf. We've seen him do that throughout the day.
And there's the serve Inovel Romero has been dying for all match long. Hammers
Romero
that
gives
home.
a little stare down, I think, over to the Stunners bench after that ace.
Hammers that one in the net, but the reality of when you get to this point in the game, what you've done the rest of the match does not matter. You could have missed 10 serves, but if you can perform in a set 5, that's all that matters. So Romero gets an ace and turns around and gets aced himself. And you know the Stunners bench full of a bunch of loud, rowdy guys that are fun seekers, determined to let him know. And as our league grows and COVID settles down, you know the crowds are going to get fired up and a lot of people here to support the league. So it'll be fun to watch that unfold as well. Overpass and Joey Jarvis with a disciplined push back into the court, giving Stunners the lead at 3-2. Great point for Joey. He's struggled a little bit finding some of the effective offensive moves, and that's just a nice securing of a point. Jorge Mencia swings off the angle cross court, but it goes in, and that's going to be a point.
Mencia said that ball was out. How can he miss that? I saw it from all the way to the other side of the court. Mencia always ready to share his opinion of the referee calls. Right back to them, his disgust or pleasure.
It's kind of funny too because he's got the right hand tape, so you can see he really highlights the finger wag going on. Jarvis goes to the big swing. That's going to be blocked back over, covered by Eisenberg. Backside, dug by Romero, touches the ceiling. Durkin goes quick tempo to the outside. Storm throws it over the top and catches Demi charging the net. That is the heads-up play you want to see from number 8. Storm coming in clutch once again. No separation created in the score for either team so far. You don't want to be the team to falter first. Coming back from a deficit is a tough one in the 5th set. And there's a huge dig. It's going to be put over. Storm with off speed, picked up by Demi. Jair with a huge swing. And Jair is under the net. See if it's called. It is indeed. And that is the importance sometimes of keeping the ball alive for even a touch more. Sometimes a big swing like that, and it's going to bring Jair under the net. So extending the rally gives that a second to come to fruition and get the call. So good job by Mencia in the right front. Hamilton Day in for a serving substitution. And gets the dig here. Durkin outside to Storm. Storm jacks that one into the corner. There's the heavy hand of Storm faagata-tufuga.
Big swing.
Captain clutch all weekend long for the Stingers.
Yeah, big swing by Storm there.
And that's going to be a timeout. I just talked about the separation not being created yet, and Stingers determined to do so on their own accord. 2-point lead generated here. Just a reminder, at 8 points, we will switch sides and have a technical timeout.
I like this timeout here just to kind of right the ship a little bit before that 8-point side switch and technical.
Certainly, a good call. However, something that does feel a little bit less promising is you've got serving sub in with Hamilton Day. He's not hitting a huge jump serve. Unlikely to get iced out of that float serve. Going to make sure that one goes in. So when you got a big jump server, sometimes you feel good that you're going to get something going your way out of that timeout. So
I think Coach for the Stunners over there
Coach
is probably
Adams,
talking about Coach Adams. Thank you very much. Talking about the emphasizing of the great pass right now, okay? And if you're Joey Jarvis, don't try to hit straight down, although you're going to be subbed out for Anguizzola, who's coming in, Antonio Anguizzola, to hit on the outside. Hasn't played at all this match, and now he's getting thrown into the mix here. Down 6-4 in game number 5. Let's see who Hamilton Day serves to.
Shocker and an ace. That's one of the tough things when you get tossed into a situation like that. Anguizzola, number 14, is the youngest player in the NBA, coming in at 20 years of age. Never played any collegiate ball. Actually was someone that was in the SoCal gym training and was kind of waiting to get picked up by a team, but having a tough showing here, probably going to get subbed right back out. Yep, can't have that happen. Pressure for a young player getting to him there, so Joey Jarvis will be making his return. We were just talking about the veteranship of many of the Stunners players, if that's not a word, it is now.
I like it. The veteranship is 100% correct.
you know, he's one of those young guys. That's a tough situation to come in and answer the call.
Well, learning situation for him and the Stunners as well. You know, prime example of when your number gets called, you do have to be ready to go in, no matter what the situation is. And the young Panamanian experiencing that firsthand in the last few points.
There's another one of those, you know, spots from around the world we haven't heard too much.
He had a nice match yesterday, but again, to be thrown into that situation, that'd be tough for anybody. So.
Yep. A small little backstory for him that I was talking about, though. So Anguissola, actually his connection, I think he knew Jair Santiago. And so Anguissola was in the gym training alongside of just the Ramblers, the Stunners, and the Blaze, whoever needed an extra body any given night. And he came in and he was a good player. Everyone was happy to have him in there as kind of an extra body. And he started progressing pretty quickly. And so a lot of the teams were having the discussion about if someone needed an extra body, he was going to be a guy to pick up. And when the Stunners were looking for a little bit of an increase in their personnel, you know, Anguissola got picked up, and he's been a great part of this training team at practice. So getting another chance here. Santiago able to get the big swing, and you know that's one of the experiences you look for. Eisenberg there making sure that Anguissola's serving zone or his reception zone gets even smaller, steps in there to make sure that he takes that pass, and that's where the experience of a good libero comes in. Amato gets Romero pulled out by Storm, set over by Shmelyov. Backside to Jair, looks to be the answer once again, but not able to find it. 2 touches from Dimi and Amato as they try to find something, but the block discipline there from Shmelyov is absolutely crucial in stopping big man number 15.
Very interesting additional substitution here by Coach Adams, putting Ramirez back in to set for the Stunners.
Maybe just seeing if he can get some new energy or something created. Anguissola puts an out of system pass. Santiago tries to hammer that one through the block. Not able to find it, and side spins that one out into the Stingers bench.
One of the
Stingers
situations
right now.
Harder does not necessarily mean better. Missed that one by quite a bit. No spin on that, and the Stunners now stunning themselves down by 5 here as we get closer to the end of this 5th set.
Certainly a interesting spot. There's been some personnel moves there that have been, you know, they're going to know their team better than anyone, right? They've had a great weekend, but sometimes you have to think that the guys that they're putting in are not warm. They're not in the game state. And so sometimes one of the biggest impacts is the hitter seeing what the block's doing as a blocker, knowing exactly who's liking to hit where, and that can take some time to get dialed in right away. So against a team like the Stingers, once they're going, sometimes you just got to grind.
Well, that's what the Stingers have done throughout this match. They've grinded it out. They've weathered the storm. They've, as you've said, the veteranship as they are has shown some good character throughout this match.
Yeah, you know, once I realized that might not have been a word, I was willing to adjust that into 2 words as a veteranship. But I'll go with veteranship.
As in a boat?
Yes, as in a boat. You are with me. And, you know, even Chavers being a guy that has seen the highest levels of play in the world, overpassing there. And this one might be heading to the record books as a win in 5 for the Stingers.
Yeah.
Not over just yet, but certainly not looking like we're going to see any change in the tides right now. Once he goes to Chavers. Back set, this one's going to be tight. Jair tries to reset it, double block awaits. And that's going to go, that's called down. And going to be a point for the Stingers. Stingers continue this large run here late in the 5th to really lock this one in.
Mencia now getting ready.
Hand pass by Jarvis up to the middle. West gets a big swing, and that is so desperately needed. Jair Santiago, he is a bit of a coin flip at times based on how he hits this serve, but if there is anyone that might be able to get some energy created right now, 1 or 2 big serves from 15 might do it. There's a huge serve with a big ace from Jair Santiago.
You called it, Nick.
And he's feeling it. The team's going to need that kind of energy and one more. And,
Coach Daniel with a quick timeout.
He's not going to let that get started.
I think that's a smart choice. He's got 2 in the bank. Why not use 1 right now? Don't let Jair get on any kind of a roll. Try to ice him here real fast and see if the coach can earn a point for his teams.
And that's one of those things that, if I'm coaching and from the Utah side, and I'm looking 2 to 3 points. So if this timeout doesn't work, you don't ice him, you don't get the next one. I'm going to let him hit 1 more serve, see if he can get that one. And if he gets it, I'm calling my second timeout.
Yeah.
Because I'm confident with a 5-point lead that my team can find me 3 points as long as I don't lose the game off of Jair.
Also, you could also throw in a substitution in there too, just to try to slow him down again. I mean, probability-wise, is he going to go on a 5 straight ace run? No. Could he get another ace? Certainly could. Could he create some problems for your team offensively with this serving that he can do? Absolutely. So it'll be very exciting to see what happens here.
Thunders that one out of the timeout. Durkin's only got 1 option. And can he get 5? I don't know, but he's got 2.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see here.
If there's anyone in the league that's not named Ian Cap, Jair Santiago might be that guy. He is putting some severe pressure behind this serve.
The only substitution that could happen would be Shmelyov, I believe, for the Stingers.
And there's the bailout.
All for naught.
Well, hopefully the Stunner is able to find a little bit of inspiration and a little bit of a pick-me-up, maybe a little energy injection from that run. Phil Fuchs enters the match.
Interesting substitution choice here. So we've not said Phil's name throughout the weekend yet.
Big toss. Fuchs puts it deep. Jarvis high ball onto the 10-foot line. Shavers swings for the Bick. Dug by Mencia. Set goes outside. Chop shot from Romero. Goes over the top. Picked up by Eisenberg. Quick set to the back. Jair Santiago bangs that one through the block and gets a big corner swing. Unable to be picked up by Fuchs in middle back. Jair Santiago refuses to go down easy, and the Stunners know he is their guy right now.
Why is Phil Fuchs staying in to pass in place of Storm?
Maybe the Stingers are so confident they want, Fuchs to get a chance. Duquim gives a 1-option Romero. Resets. Middle, Shmelyov goes over the top, picked up by Eisenberg. No outside option, goes backside to Jair. Now Jair does it once again. The big man is fired up.
Wow.
Told to keep it through the net. But, returning fire that's been said all through the net says, my bad. He was fired up after a big swing. All smiles now, but
Romero's looking for a little respect here, my friend. Come on now. Yes, it might have been a good hit, but, just a little bit of something. We're still up by 3 points.
But at the same, alternatively, are you expecting him to not get excited after 4 points out of the last 5 plays? Someone's got to put the Stunners on their back and, bring them to this late game. So
Romero's a bit of a even-keeled player. Haven't seen a big outburst of emotions from him.
Well, you certainly didn't see him get subbed out yesterday, as he was not thrilled to be on the bench, let me tell you. West goes in. Good block touch, slows that down outside to Romero, and he swings, blocked, reset by Duquim. Durkin goes to the backside, picked up by Jarvis. Jair high ball to the outside, and that one's going to get called. And you know that everyone's ready to have a field day with that error.
Oh.
Jair tripped up on Jarvis just a little bit, and now you see Eisenberg willing to have a discussion, maybe not because he feels any certain way, although I don't disagree with him that while it was a double, that same ball has not been called in a variety of matches. Sometimes it's all about creating a little bit of a timeout and a slowdown. Paul Clark now in number 1 to see if he can seal the deal for the Stingers in 5. Eisenberg digs in. Chavers swings deep corner, picked up by Storm. Back set, and that's going to get let go outside of Chavers. Chavers swings, that one goes out. And that's sometimes the danger of calling one double but not another, because that was the exact same set that just got called on Jair.
That was not the exact same set.
I think that was. I would go on record saying
close to as bad as Jair's set.
I'll go on record saying I think that was worse.
No way. What match are you watching, Nick?
Outside his shoulders, double, both hands going different ways, but Stunners are going to take it all the same.
Match point still nonetheless. One wants to hear us argue. Here comes Nick West. He foot faulted.
Yeah, he did, all off Duquim's chest there. There's a chip down the line, and we might have seen different things on the double, but we certainly saw the same thing on the foot fault.
What a turn of events here. Nick West now continuing to serve his team down by 2.
West stays clean, goes to Duquim. Outside, Romero looks to end it, but unable to do so. Swings wide, and the Stunners are battling back, down just by 2. I expect to see a timeout taken here to slow this down. And there it is. The serving pressure of Nick West and Jair Santiago proved to be the saving grace here for the Stunners as they tried to go the distance and steal this one back from the Utah Stingers.
We both thought that this game was almost over when it was, 11-5, I believe?
Yep.
And look at it now, 14-13, Stunners down by 1 and fought their way back.
And this is why this, you've got to. We both agreed it was a great timeout. The Stingers, their coach knew that a little bit of energy coming out of Jair Santiago was going to be trouble. And so, I think he really played it well because he planned for exactly what's happening right now. He has that second timeout in his pocket to hopefully settle his guys down and try and end this one right now.
Nick West now.
Set goes to the middle, dug by West, tracked down by Jair. It's going to be a high ball that's got to come back. It's a free ball from West. He puts it to the right side of the court. Durkin goes to the middle. Metcalf gets the block set. Retouch. Mencia into the corner and ends it. That's going to be the Stingers going the distance. And at 15-13, the score by which they lost to the Ramblers, they take their win for the weekend, finishing 1-2. What a great statement win to take down the 2-0 OC Stunners. Huge for their season right there.
Entertaining match all the way around. Congratulations to both teams for playing just some really high-level volleyball. Unfortunately, there's always got to be a winner and a loser, and the Stingers happy to take that match win home with them. Stunners a little bit frustrated probably with how that finished up, but man, what a win. What a character win, statement win for the Stingers there on a short-staffed team this weekend.
Certainly is, and what that's going to do now is leave us at 4:30. Wow, 4:30. The Voice is feeling the weekend right now. We are at 4:30, which means the next match started actually as we hit 4:31. The next match started 1 minute ago, so bear with us. We still got a player of the match. We're going to take a little time to get reset, so if you're tuning in, as so many fans tune in for these Matadors matches, they've got a great fan base that love to get involved with the Go Matadors in all of social media. Just stay tuned. We're going to be bringing you that match shortly. But we have Team Freedom as well. So this is going to be, one of the largest online fan bases going up against the largest fan base here in person, as the hometown Team Freedom has a lot of Atlantic City fans.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting match, I believe, with the Matadors coming up. Physically talking about the matchups, I think I like Team Freedom's chances. They're a bit more physically statured, imposing in terms of like Matthew Seifert, 6'10". I believe they've got a 6'8", 6'9" outside hitter as well. Matadors, not quite as large physically as the Team Freedom group is, but should be an entertaining match nonetheless. As we get ready for our man of the match, let's throw it over to Ira Thor with today's MVP.
Thanks, fellas. I'm here with Storm, faagata-tufuga. I've been practicing it. I hope that was close enough.
Close enough.
Hey, very close one at the end. Became more of a nail biter than you guys expected. Can you talk us through the end of that match?
Well, in our last time out, it was all about slowing the game down. I feel like we were trying to rush it to get the win, but we just had to slow it down. Coach made a very good timeout, and then we just had to breathe a little bit. And there we go. We were able to pull it off, just slow it down a bit and focus.
Yeah, it was a good win for you guys against an OC Stunners team that had won their first 2 matches of the weekend and looked really impressive doing so. What was the team's game plan coming in to try to find a way to slow down, especially the block, which had been so ferocious all year?
One thing was to try to get their outsides, just try to serve their outsides. That's a little bit of the scouting we've done. Try to get them out of, what's it called? I'm sorry. Can't speak English. Yeah, out of system. Sorry. Try to get them out of system and just try to work from there.
Now, you guys came in as obviously one of the favorites in the entire NVA. 1-2 weekend, but you did get the result here. Could you give us a little assessment of where the Stingers are right now after this match? How do you feel about how you're playing?
I feel that, well, the first 2 matches, it was definitely a learning and humbling experience for us. And we can only get better and learn from our mistakes. And I feel that this upcoming tournament will just come back better and hopefully become the champions come July.
Storm was a big part of the success. 3 very, very close matches this weekend, and we're back on the court in June where the Stingers will try to rebound from a 1-2 weekend, but still very much a force here, a souvenir. Back to you guys. Storm faagata-tufuga, he is our most valuable player of the match.
Well, that's one of those names. If you've ever seen Storm's name on paper, it is quite a tough one. And I remember Storm faagata-tufuga, the first time I was trying to get that one dialed out. It is a toughie for sure. And it's really always something that makes me laugh when we had Ryan Mowney here earlier, Will Ragland, when we just saw it there with Storm. It's always one of those tough ones. After you play a huge nail biter and you're one of the leaders, you're on a bit of a head high in another space and trying to dial it back down, come to earth. And we got a little ball tap there on the camera, but trying to bring it back down to earth and formulate words, it's a task in and of itself.
It is, but kudos to Storm and congratulations to him and the Stingers for pulling out that victory. An exciting 5-gamer. What's next on tap, Nick?
All right, we got the Ontario Matadors getting ready to play against Team Freedom. Team Freedom, the only 5-0 team here, still in the league. Ontario Matadors sitting at a 1-4, a win desperately needed for them here. And this should be a pretty good matchup. While the standings might show a bit of disparity between the teams, do not count the Matadors out. They're an explosive team that if Team Freedom doesn't come out ready to go, Ontario Matadors could make some quick work here if they're ready. So stay tuned. We'll be back very quickly here. Not sure on the exact start time as both teams get ready to go, but we will have that match live all the same. We'll see you guys back here shortly.